We're back here with another episode of Around the Indoor Football World. I'm joined by my boy Cody. We got Shady on the line. Cody, how you doing this morning, man?
Coming to you live from beautiful Tulsa, Oklahoma, baby.
Yeah, so you got a big game tonight against Indy, home opener. I think it's going to be good. To start off big with Indy coming in. But, Shady's down there in Columbus, Georgia for the American Arena League draft. How you doing down there? How's everything?
Beautiful weather down here in Georgia. Let me tell you, it was snowing in Colorado. I got to fly from like 32-degree weather to 82-degree weather at like 10 o'clock last night. So pretty thrilled about that. Very excited for the draft tomorrow. And hopefully we can show you guys a sneak peek of the venue in a couple hours here.
Definitely. So I wanted to start with the American Arena League, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about the draft format. I know the draft is tomorrow. 4 teams. We got Mississippi, Wolfpack, New Jersey Bearcats, Columbus Lions, and Wheeling Miners. So we got 4 teams. So just talk a little bit about the format of it and how it's going to be set up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, as we've talked about a couple times before, we wish that the AAL was a couple more teams, but they opted to stay small in 2026 and focus on stability. And you can't really ask for 4 more stable teams to start this league with. Jersey's been around for 7-8 seasons now. If you've been in the indoor and arena game for any length of time, you know who AJ Roquet is, the owner and head coach of the Bearcats. Eddie Strong, has built a great program down there in Mississippi. Very excited that he decided to make the move up. He was obviously always looking to be a professional team at some point, so cool to see him make the move. And then, of course, how could you go wrong with Columbus and Wheeling there as the foundation? In terms of the draft, obviously, a lot of people have expressed, I don't want to necessarily say concerns, but confusion, I guess would be the right word, as to why they're doing this draft, quote unquote, in season. So I wanted to be really clear. The game that took place yesterday was a preseason game. So it is not an actual regular season game. And yes, the draft timing is still a little bit odd. I understand. However, the goal and the focus of that was to give guys who are rookies an opportunity to get some film playing indoor ball, to get them an opportunity to be drafted. Obviously, as we know, the AAL2 is a developmental league. They are 100% here to elevate players. And, with that in mind, having guys leave midseason is what they're used to. It's what the league is built around. So I know a lot of people are expressing concern that, hey, these teams might lose 4, 5, 6 guys, in a row. While that is accurate, you have to consider the fact that we're only talking about a total of 16 players getting drafted for the entire AAL. So, and obviously, as we know, there's a good chance that some of these guys don't make rosters. So they're right back on their AAL2 team. So when it comes to concerns about the guys in the AAL2 losing players and not having enough of a roster to play games and stuff, I'm not so concerned about that. But regardless, very excited for the event tomorrow, and ultimately I'll toss it back to you guys to kind of get your thoughts and feelings on it.
Yeah, so I'll just say this. When the American Arena League first announced, I was kind of, confused on how it would work. And then I really thought about it, and I said, this could be a really good thing, have a league with these teams kind of building up. Because I believe Wheeling and Columbus can really build up Mississippi and Jersey. And I think that's the big concept of the league. I want to get Cody's thoughts too, but I want to share this photo. This is of the Columbus Lions new turf that they rolled out on Thursday night. They played the Tri-City River Gators, big win, 79-0. But I think this turf, it speaks volumes about, Mr. Beck's investment into the franchise. Coming in year one, buying a new turf. You look at the attendance. That's more fans than they've had in Columbus in years, to be honest. So I think that's a big deal for Thursday night, and I think they're only going to grow that fan base. Cody, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, so you got to take a look at that photo too and realize it's 53-0 at halftime, and they still have retained all those fans. So all those guys could have gone out for chicken wings or anything at the halftime concession stands, whatever the case could be. They're all still sitting in their seats, man. The turf looks beautiful, and to your credit, it's like they said, or like what you said, just the investment that they've put into it. They're taking this seriously. They always have. Columbus has been just one of the main staples of the indoor and arena game for decades at this point. They've been around for quite a while now. So kudos to them for putting on a show like what they've had. As for the AAL and AAL2 draft, it remains to be seen. This is the first time we've ever done something like this, at least in these parts. So I'm excited. I'm waiting with bated breath. There's no poo-pooing or anything because I don't think there's really anything to poo-poo about or be like, hey, this thing sucks. So I'll see. I mean, there might be some issues. There always will be issues when, certain things happen. But if you can quash all of those, I think this will go off without a hitch. Obviously, Sam's down there, so he's going to take the reins. He'll get all the blame if stuff goes wrong. But no, for the most part, like I'm excited to see how this all shakes out and see if it's something that they're going to do. Obviously, the year after, the year after, the year after, and we'll see. It's just it's a cool concept. I want to see it put into action.
Cody, I'm glad you threw that out there, and I wanted to make it very clear. If anything goes wrong, it is 100% on me, not anybody else involved, not the league, nobody else. So I want to make that very clear to anybody watching. If we have any sort of issues, blame it on me. Don't blame it on the league. Don't blame it on anybody else that's there from Shady Sports Network. It's 100% on me.
Well, you can blame TJ because he's not here.
Well, yeah, of course, him too.
All
but
right, cool.
Totally kidding. I just want to make it clear because, inevitably, this is a new event for us. This is something we've never done before. I'm sure we're going to run into some confusion, some issues. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why, I might be able to give you guys a sneak preview of the venue today. We're going to go check it out, foresee any possible issues, try and, see what the Wi-Fi is like, all of that, before we ever set up for tomorrow. But at the same time, like you guys said, it's a new event. There's going to be some issues. There's going to be some hiccups. But at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is we're trying to provide players with opportunities to elevate. And that's what it's all about when it comes to indoor football, whether it's, the AAL or the AAL2 or the IFL or the AF1, whatever it is. Everybody's still looking to move up to the NFL, to the CFL, to the UFL, whatever it may be. So I just want to highlight these players and give them an opportunity to feel proud about the broadcast that we put forth. So, like I said, inevitably there will be issues, but as long as overall it's a good product and it highlights the players, then I think I'll personally be happy.
And then one last thing with the American Arena League, I want to talk about the Wheeling Miners. They signed a quarterback. I don't think we talked about him a couple weeks ago. Daryl Clark. So we'll share a photo of him here. He's a quarterback. He played at Penn State. I believe he's the all-time leading record holder for passing yards by a freshman. So they brought him in. He's a little older. I don't know how much of a fat impact he'll have. I know he knows the arena style. Obviously, he played a little bit in the CFL as well. We'll share this right here. But I'll share this photo, and then I want to get Cody's thoughts. Cody, what do you think about the signing for Wheeling?
I think the signing's all right. I mean, we'll see if what you say is true. He knows the arena game, the indoor game, whatever the case could be. That could honestly benefit. I mean, it's better than someone that doesn't have experience. But at the same time, for the sake of not trying to talk out of my ass, it's kind of a seeing as believing kind of thing. Does he fit the scheme? Does he fit the system? Is he going to ball out? Is he going to be a jag? I'm not necessarily sure. We'll see what happens when he takes the field. We'll see what happens with the players around him because it's not just all on him. You got the other guys on the offense, the other guys on the defense. You can only take the team so far. So I'll be waiting. I'll be seeing. And if he balls out, more power to him. If it's not, then, it looks like he might have to find a different place to play. I don't know. But like I said, I'm not going to shoot that down. We'll see how it goes.
I agree. He's older, right? He's 40. And I wonder, if he's in shape, if he can play still. He has a tough test coming up Thursday night. Obviously Wheeling travels over to Columbus. And so that Columbus D-line, man, is crazy. I mean, that D-line is if they were in the NAL, that D-line would be a top D-line in the NAL, in my opinion. I mean, DeAndre Brown, Tyler Clark, like the guys they have on that D-line, physicality-wise, are some of the best I've seen in a while, to be honest. So, in the American Arena League. Shady, what do you think about the signing by Wheeling?
I actually like it, and the reason why is I think all of us can probably agree that Khalil Trotman has the inside track to start for Wheeling. So the big thing with Trotman is while he has played quarterback most of his career, he's been kind of the quarterback too, and like that jack of all trades type guy. So I think bringing in a veteran at quarterback behind him to kind of act as like a mentor, a steadying force, and a guy, if absolutely necessary, you can put in, in an emergency situation, or if Trotman's struggling and just doesn't necessarily need a replacement, but needs a guy to go in and just take over some snaps, let Trotman kind of steady his thoughts or whatever, and get back in, then I think this is a good move. Now, if you're starting, or if you're bringing this guy in with the thought of him starting, and he hasn't played in multiple years or hasn't played professional ball in multiple years, then I definitely have some concerns about that. But I think just based on the way their roster is built currently, I think Trotman's going to be the guy, and I think this is them trying to make sure that they have enough steady voices in his ear to kind of help him weather his first professional opportunity to be a starter.
I agree. Cody, one last thing with the American Arena League. Columbus and Shady too, but we'll start with Cody. Columbus signed Blaine Espinoza. He started Thursday night for them. He threw 5 touchdowns. I thought he looked great. I know they were playing a semi-pro team, but still, I mean, I thought he really understood the arena style. Obviously, he's the younger brother of Mason Espinoza. When you look at a player like Blaine, he has experience in the indoor game with Jacksonville and Amarillo. How big is that experience, you think?
I mean, it's huge. We just talked about Daryl Clark having indoor and arena experience. Blaine Espinoza is no different. And I think, obviously there's an age gap with that too, but Blaine Espinoza in the last couple of seasons being the backup behind so many quarterbacks in Jacksonville, and that's not a shot at Jacksonville, but to bring in players like Tyler Huff, to bring in like Connor Blunt and a whole bunch of others. I know I'm going to space on the names right now. It's early, forgive me, but to still be the backup with all that, not getting his true shot to kind of shine and, backup situations, games out of hand, stuff like that. Now he's got his shot. Now he's got his chance to, go prove himself. He played well, like you said, in the preseason game. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the season, and hopefully health and injury free and everything along those lines. The guy can just ball out and do exactly what's needed for him. And that's going to help out Columbus fully.
Real quick before we move on, out of curiosity, Humphrey, you're in the process of becoming the team owner. I'm curious, are you guys looking at the AL? I mean, and what do you think about what they're doing? Just since you happen to mention some stuff in the chat here. Go ahead, Krish. Sorry.
I see this comment by Coach Davis. You got to win with pride and you got to lose with class. And I know how to lose with class better than anyone, and you'll learn May 18th how to lose with class. So let's just keep it at that. Anyway, so obviously we're in preseason. American Arena League, we got to do our championship predictions, because I don't want to hear midway through, man, I said this team would be good. So we'll start with Shady. Who's winning the league this year?
Sorry about that. I had a quick glitch. Man, it's really hard to bet against Columbus right now. They're a very talented team. Obviously, Roger Beck is putting a lot of effort and time into the team right now. I think they have a really, really good coach. Like I said, it's hard to bet against Columbus right now, but I think if there's a team that could potentially knock them off, I'm not sleeping on Jersey, and that's not because of anything they've necessarily done roster wise. I just think that AJ Roque is a really good coach. He has a knack for coaching guys up and making them play to the best of their abilities, even if they may not look like the more talented team on paper. They tend to be really competitive. So it would not shock me in the slightest to see Columbus and Jersey in the championship. It wouldn't surprise me at all if by the time the dust settles, somehow, some way, Jersey comes out on top.
What about you, Cody? Who do you got?
No, I mean, for the sake of it, I don't know who beats Columbus. I know Sam's trying to put someone else in there, but I think Columbus, like the roster that we just saw for the preseason game, and that's just the preseason game, man. You still have more games to play. A roster turnover will happen. I just don't know how Columbus doesn't just take it. I don't. Not to say that there might not be bumps in the road, and yeah, it's one game for the championship and they could lose it, but I don't. Columbus just looks like world beaters right now.
And Shady, can you clarify this? The championship game is in Wheeling this year, right? Or Columbus? I think.
I believe it's in Wheeling, but don't quote me on that. I know I've talked about it with the league. I just honestly, I've been so focused on the draft, I don't recall at the moment.
Okay, so for me, I think Columbus wins. I think it all comes down to offensive line and defensive line play. And you have guys like, again, Tyler Clark and then, but I mean, Michael Harvey. I mean, he's been around for ages, man. Back-to-back champion with Albany. You got guys like of that caliber playing in a league. I think they're going to dominate. So I think Columbus will win the league easy. I think they can win every game by 20-plus points, in my opinion, respectfully. So we got this comment, and then we'll move on to the AF1 because I want to save the IFL for last. I'm still kind of processing it. But and you too, Cody. Hey, you too. So I'm kind of happy that you took a loss too. So we both are kind of in the same boat here. But
Quad City got slacked.
So I feel like whatever league would take us. Man, I think you should join the AIF. Like, wouldn't that make sense? You got Odessa, Midland. I think that would be a good fit. So I think you should join the AIF or the American Arena League. One of the two. So we'll take a break and we'll move on to AF1. Here we go. We got one more comment right here. Lines are made. Whitley is going to bring it as well. Don't forget Mississippi one. Yeah, but Mississippi doesn't have, I love Coach Strong down there, but they don't got the O-line or D-line. Neither did Jersey. Jersey had the O-line. They don't got anything on the D-line. So it's going to be difficult for them, I think, to be competitive, to be honest. But oh yeah, one more question for Shady before we move on. So American Arena League draft, who's the projected #1 pick? I need to know this.
That's a tough question. So I mean, obviously, this is a little bit different than most drafts. We're not talking about the NFL. We're not talking about guys that are going to move across the country necessarily to play for any opportunity, right? So to be clear, all these guys have expressed that they are willing to take any opportunity in the AL, but the teams that are drafting them, are also going to look into some of the logistics behind this stuff. How quickly can we get a guy in? How quickly can we get him up to speed? How quickly can he make an impact? Those are the three things that I think are really going to impact any player that you select in this draft. So with that in mind, and AJ is probably going to hate me for saying this out loud, but my #1 prospect in this draft is quarterback Andre Parker. Andre Parker, to me, looks like a guy who can come in and not only contribute right away, but he could potentially start for one of the AAL teams right now under his current abilities. He's never played indoor football before, played college at a very high level at Delaware State. I think he finished up at man, I'm blanking off the top of my head, so I'm not even going to misspeak. But he started at Delaware State, was a very highly rated prospect coming out of high school. He's mobile, he can sling it, he's got an arm. I honestly think he's going to be a really highly touted prospect, and I would not.
Did we lose him?
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, that was a lot of talk for him just to say Fernando Mendoza, but there he is.
All right, we'll take a quick commercial break and then be back to talk about the F1.
You hear that? That's football. You hear that? That's football coming back to Louisiana. The Louisiana Rouxgaroux are storming the arena with speed, power, and non-stop action, hard hits, fast scores, and an electric night out for the whole family. It all starts February 28th. 7 home games, 1 house, the Brookshire Grocery Arena. Tickets range from $24 to $34. Football isn't over. It's just moved inside. Scan the QR code to secure your tickets or visit LouisianaRouxgaroux.com.
Hey man, we got our guy Bob watching from Jacksonville here. Great game last night, man. You got players in all 3 phases of the game. I can't even say anything, but we'll see y'all soon. And then Cody, great, great job. So you got a fan.
Appreciate the kind words. I do like Inside the Sharks. Go check them out as well.
Yeah, they do a good job. So AF1, we started last week, man. So before we get into the actual games, I kind of want to get into the production. You're the production expert, in my opinion. I think you know more. Like you kind of have more of an idea on what it should look like, in my opinion. So we'll start with the AF1. Obviously, they have 2 partners, Home Team Sports, and they have Vice, right? Week 1, what was your opinion on the level of production?
So I'm going to show my ass here. I didn't watch any AF1 games this weekend. I've just been tied up with rewatching all the indoor football league stuff, getting the recaps and stuff like that out. So I will plead ignorance when it comes to that. But from what I've seen on like clips and highlights and everything, the production wasn't bad. I think it's probably leaps and bounds, like years better than what it was in the past. So I can't knock it. And I do like what the AF1 is doing when it comes to showing their highlights, when it comes to being more active within like social media and everything along those lines. So being able to have that high production means you're able to get better quality highlights, better quality videos out there for people to watch. So I think they're taking an initiative to say, hey, we want to put some of our resources into this, and hopefully it pays off as more eyeballs can watch not just the games, but the highlights and everything too. And they can go from that route and say, hey, we've got a good product for you guys to watch. You can go to Home Team, you can go to Vice, you can watch all of that stuff.
I agree. I think Shady's back. What is your opinion on the AF1 production? No, he's still having internet issues.
I think it's great. Thanks, Sam.
So my opinion is that, look, I think a lot of people were kind of criticizing the league for waiting this long, right? We all want partners to be announced a month or 2 in advance, at least, right? So we can have an idea, okay, what do we need to buy? What do we need to get? All this stuff. The Home Team Sports Network has been amazing. I mean, the every game except the Oceanside Beaumont game I thought was good. I thought it was good production. I thought the value was high. I love, like, the great comment right here too. I agree, man. I think it being on YouTube is accessible. I think a majority of the games are on YouTube. Like, I might even unsubscribe to Vice, right? Because I believe 7 out of the next 9 Vice games are Washington Wolfpack games. So I'm not paying for that. I just think it. I just go with the free option. Home Team Live is the best website. Yeah.
Well, didn't I see something where because there's like the argument where like the games on Home Team were free, right? Like people were there's a miscommunication where people like had to pay for there might be a paid option on Home Team Network, but it was ending up free. Because didn't Sam get into an argument about that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I think there was something where it's like the Home Team Network, like you can pay for certain teams, like Little League Baseball or something like that. But I guess AF1, everything on there's for free. So,
but it like for the AF1 it's free, coach.
Yeah,
but it's like you said, certain things are not free. But that's big on the league, man. They're working out a deal where they can get it free. So yeah, this is good because Kentucky. Oh my God, when Kentucky played Michigan last week, that camera was so far up you couldn't see anything.
yeah,
It was bad, man. Like they gotta fix that. But we'll talk about the specific games. You can kind of. I mean, I know you kind of said you didn't watch, but you have an idea. So we'll start back here with the game, big game, Albany and Minnesota. So Albany, Minnesota goes to Albany. Do you think Albany is the clear front runner to win the league this year?
just based on that score, yes. And I've been, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I've been saying it's pretty much Albany's league throughout the entire offseason, to your credit at least. And it pains me so much to give you credit, man. But to your credit, you did say that Albany was going to blow this team out, if I'm not mistaken. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm happy to say that you're wrong. But I think you said Albany is going to win and by like 35 points. And it wasn't that, but it was close, man. And so you got some soul searching to do if you're Minnesota. Again, it's one game. You're going up against a buzzsaw. But at the same time, you look at that and you're like, I think they're on track for a championship here.
I agree. I mean, I think Minnesota, they have a ton of talent, but it all comes down to, coaching, right? I think Coach Darren Clark, right? He's young. He's still learning the game, not learning the game, learning the game from a coaching perspective. So it's going to take time for them to get. I think there's a bit of a culture issue in Minnesota, and I think they'll figure it out. But I think it'll take time for them to figure it out. So Albany looks great. I mean, they look great defensively. I thought they played great on defense. I thought, 23 points is amazing. 23 points to allow 6 points in the second half, man. That's insane in the arena style of play. The other game I wanted to touch on here is, and we'll talk about it. Let's see, is Michigan and Kentucky. So we talked about the issue in Kentucky. What do you think about Kentucky as a indoor football, arena football market as a whole? You would say
it's a little too early to tell, just based on they've played one game. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But overall, the branding, the uniforms, the field, everything that they've put into it, they're taking this very seriously. Like, again, call a spade a spade. There are some teams that or like some ownerships that just throw a team on the field and they're like, can we make a quick buck? Can we just provide entertainment and stuff? Kentucky's not that. With what they've put in there, they're taking this stuff seriously. They got their win. I mean, was it closer than some people would expect? Sure. But again, we're talking about two teams here that have never played a snap, and you never know how it was going to go. So kudos Kentucky. The field looked amazing. And from the highlights I saw in that game, yes, the camera was very high up, but it looked like a very, very fun venue from where they're at, because they're at Northern Kentucky's campus, right, for their stadium. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that looked really good, and it's a market where I don't know if they've ever been there before. If they have, it's probably been a very long time. So building a new fan base, getting those fans from Ohio, Kentucky, in that area. I can't remember where is Owensboro, Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. To get all of that, you can build a fan base. Wins will happen, fans will show up, and you just run that.
I agree. I mean, I want to give a shout out to two of our former players. Ezekiel Rhodes on the defensive line. He won AF1 Defensive Player of the Week. And Jalen Marshall from Ohio State. First day out for him, he won Offensive Player of the Week. Two former Pirate guys. Happy for them. But I just think Kentucky is a great market. The fan base showed out. The team showed out. They got a really good football team, and I think they're only going to continue to get better with Coach Walker. Shady, what are your thoughts on the game?
I'm sorry about that. Are you talking about Nashville's turnout?
Kentucky and Michigan.
Yeah, Kentucky and Michigan.
I mean, I think, you have to be impressed by what Nashville did. I mean, obviously, they look pretty good for the beginning of the season. Obviously, on top of that, I mean, it's always great to get a win this early. But then I was impressed at the fact that they had any fans there, given that this game was like during the week. Thursday games are tough for any team, any location, it doesn't matter. It's the middle of the week. People aren't ready to necessarily commit to something like that where it might be a late finish, which that one was. So I think that, in my personal opinion, the jury is still kind of out on them being full-time in Clarksville. But I think that this was, in my mind, an encouraging sign for the long-term there for them.
I agree. And then the other game this week, last week was this one we had. We got to talk about this. I can't wait to hear y'all thoughts on this. Because you all want to defend J.R. Wells till the sun goes down. So we'll start with Cody, man. I mean, tough loss for Washington. What are your thoughts?
There's a lot of people, myself included, that thought Washington would kind of run away with this one. And not like run away, but I figured they'd have more of a decisive victory. And boy, howdy, could we be more wrong with that. Kudos to Oregon, man. That the issues that have plagued Washington continue to plague Washington. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, wasn't there a game, and again, I'm not an aficionado when it comes to AF1, but wasn't there a game where they only scored like 3 points last year, man? Something like that. Like the offense it's more of the same. And they need to, again, it's one game. You can overreact. It's kind of what we're doing right now. But at the same time, you need to look at that and be like, all right, throw this away. Because you still have to play this team 3 more times. And if it's going to be like this 3 more times, you've already got 4 losses. So you need to forget about this game quick. You need to move on. And you need to like bury the tape, do whatever you need to do. You got to get something going in Washington.
I agree. Shady, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, Krish, I mean, I've been a big supporter of J.R. Wells, and I think, I'm still somewhat in his corner. But to your credit, I mean, you've been on the very opposite side of that fence this entire time. And honestly, after this first game against Oregon, when we know at this point that J.R. Wells now has resources to go get good players and, has 2 really talented wide receivers that have, that height mismatch on the outside, and your offense scores 3 points, and you're supposedly an offensive mind, I don't think that there's really any defense for that performance at this point. So I think, honestly, you might be right on this one, Krish. So kudos to you for seeing it long before I did. I thought a lot of this was resource-based, but I don't think we can say that anymore.
We've told Krish he's been right like 2 or 3 times in this show. I think we just need to end it. I mean, that's too many.
Yeah. We're going to have to call this one an early one. Thanks to everybody showing up today. Great show.
Yep, Krish was right. There we go. Game over.
So for me, I was told this by someone the other day, we all get paid. We all get paid in the sense of professional coaches, professional players, right? We all get paid, to produce. And if you don't produce, you got to find someone else that can produce, right? When I So I want to clarify something. When I come out against someone, like go hard on someone, I'm not coming at them as a person, right? I'm not coming at J.R. Wells as a man, as a father, as anything. I'm coming at him because he's a shitty football coach. Like, that's what he is, right? And so that's why I come at him, because he's in charge of a big program in Washington, and they can't seem to get stuff right. He's 3-18. Their team is horrible every year. They lose by 40 points. They show no life. And the amount of shit he talks when he gets on saying, man, this is the culture. He's talking about how he was in he said he played 7 years of arena football and did some NFL commercials, bro. Like, all that bullshit, you know? He talks so much and doesn't back it up, you know? So, I mean, I think it's a rough season for Washington, man. I mean, I feel bad for Akil out there. But Akil, you know, it's his fault for going back to Washington. So he deserves every part of what's happening. You know, he had other options. So, unfortunately, he's going to suffer on that team all year. But for me, I look at the schedule ahead for them. I mean, it's not going to get better. Nashville, Albany, Beaumont, Oregon, Beaumont again, Oregon, Oceanside, Oregon, Michigan, Nashville, Minnesota. I mean, that's a terrible schedule, if you ask me. So they got a long way to go in Washington. I mean, I'll ask you guys, how many games do you think Washington is going to win this year?
I mean, if Oceanside is going to be winning games and Oregon's going to be winning games and you play them multiple times, I don't know how many games they can win. I'll be honest. Not to sound like a Debbie Downer, but they might be able to sneak 1, 2. I don't know. Every game is different. Every week is different. So I can't sit there and be like, they're horrible. They're going to lose every game. But if they can't score more than 30 or 40 points in arena style football, I don't know how you can win games. I don't. I know it's completely different than what we've seen, obviously, in decades past where you're putting up 70, 80 points, whatever. But even to this day, like, if you can't score 30, 40 points in the arena style game, not indoor, but arena style with one high man in motion, under center, you're just chucking that ball deep, you're not going to win any games.
100%. What about you, Shady? How many games?
As much as I hate to agree with you guys on this one, but I think, you know, the high number at this point has to be 3, right? You know, and even that's kind of a stretch after this game, because let's be honest, we all had them pegged as winning a couple of these Oregon games. So if you come out and you look that bad, and we've already discussed it, like, I think Washington will get better from here. And I think Oregon might go the opposite direction, so maybe you get a couple games over them later on. But, I mean, it's tough to look at. And at this point, I think, like I said, maximum of 3. I just can't see any more for them right now, unless something dramatic changes.
100%. So, you know, unlike you guys, I could take accountability. You know, Beaumont and Oceanside, man, I was wrong. I was so wrong about this, man. I thought Beaumont was going to run a train on Oceanside, bro. Like, I thought Beaumont was going to win by 50. I looked at Beaumont's team, offensive line, defensive line. I said, there is no way Oceanside can stay in this football game. But, oh, my God, it was bad. Like, the fact that Beaumont has that high of a payroll, I mean, they're paying guys. Everyone, from what I was told, they have guys making over. They start at 700 and go up, so they're already like way over the league salary cap, and they're losing to Oceanside, who doesn't pay a player a dime over 300, and they have all local players. That's crazy. Shout out to former Pirate Javon Tucker. He did his thing, 2 touchdowns. But I mean, Cody, what do you think about this? I mean, this is crazy in my opinion.
Yeah, if you want to call upsets an upset, like this is the definition of an upset. We on this show, and again, not naming names because I'll put my name out there first. Like, we're sitting there going, you know, Rudy Johnson, not an arena style quarterback. Oceanside, they're trying to, you know, sneak into the same arena as San Diego Strike Force in the IFL. They're trying to do all this, like, and just kind of, again, pushing Oceanside to the side, going like, no one cares. They'll be dead in a year and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they come out and they beat the defending NAL champs. who are obviously now in a new league and everything like that. They look good. I mean, I will clearly eat crow. I will clearly put my foot in my mouth and be like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, because that happens all the time. But yeah, to have this be, I don't even want to say upset of the year, because you never know what can happen, but this could be the upset of the year. Like, to come out and just be like, hey, we don't care who you are. You're over here. You're on our turf. We beat you. Like I said, that I have no words, man. It's crazy to see this go. And man, I had Oceanside as the Washington of like, man, they're not going to win any games. This is a farce and stuff like that. I'll put my hand up. I need to take this team more seriously. So I do apologize to Oceanside when it comes to that, man.
I just wanted to say that I was never necessarily counting Oceanside out, specifically because of Rudy Johnson. I'm a big fan of his, but I definitely was on the train that he is not an arena football quarterback. That is without debate, in my opinion. But I think Oceanside came out and shut a lot of people up, me included, because it's not like I projected them to win this game. I thought Beaumont was going to walk all over them, and Beaumont came out and got smacked in the mouth. So, in my opinion, I think this is a huge win for Oceanside. It's a big statement, and I think it's more importantly a statement that, hey, we might have the lowest payroll in the league, and we may not, we may not even look at out-of-state players, but we'll still, hang 40 on you and get a win. So I think that's good for the league and in general, because if your teams that were projected to be the bottom of the league are that competitive, then there's going to be a lot more parity in this league than I think a lot of us thought going into the season.
So I want to pose a question to you guys, and I want to pose a question to the chat, people watching. By the end of the season, who do you think will draw more fans, Oceanside or San Diego? And I think this is very, very interesting if Oceanside can pull that off. Cody, we'll start with you.
I mean, obviously, with the bias of doing indoor football league stuff, you hope it's the San Diego Strike Force, but that's where the difference is I don't know Oceanside's full schedule, because I know San Diego's kind of gotten the raw end of the deal when it comes to arena availability and things along those lines in years past, where they were playing Sunday and Monday night games where the crowds weren't necessarily too big. So I think with San Diego potentially, and I'd have to go look at San Diego's schedule, with them potentially having more Saturday games to draw in more crowds, or maybe Oceanside will. It's just who has that prime time spot, which is normally your Saturday at 6, Saturday at 7 Pacific time. That's probably going to be the one that draws a more crowd, man. And then, of course, you have to deal with who they're going up against, whether it's like a Padres home game or whatever the case could be. So there's a lot of factors that boil down to it. Like I said, my thought is, hey, I think San Diego should have more fans, being more of a longevity play, but I could also see Oceanside usurping that. Like, if Oceanside can get marketing, if they can get promotion, it's something I've harped on, not just in the IFL, but a lot of other leagues and teams. Market and promote your product. And if Oceanside is doing that locally, along with regionally and nationally eventually, then yeah, they can easily draw some fans. I think San Diego, they've been trying to do that. I don't know if it's something that just hasn't latched on compared to Oceanside, but time will tell. Again, this is the first game for Oceanside, so who's to say that you have one good game, home opener, and then just no one shows up for the rest of the season? Time will tell.
What do you think? What do you think about this, Shady?
Can you repeat the question? I apologize.
Yeah, what team by the end of the season do you think will have more fans for the whole season, Oceanside or San Diego?
First of all, this is a really good question and a very good case study for teams sharing an arena. But as far as that goes, I think it's probably still going to be San Diego, just because they're more established. The area has to have a better idea of who they are at this point. But if Oceanside keeps winning and San Diego is not in a position to compete for a championship, we might see that slide the other direction really, really quickly. It just depends on where each team is in their specific season, I think. But I also think that this might cause a little bit of confusion for fans, like, who aren't really privy to the differences in the leagues. They're going to be wondering why there are two teams, but they don't play each other and stuff like that. So I don't know if that necessarily is going to negatively impact either team, but it's going to be fascinating to watch as the season goes on. And really good question, Krish.
This is hard to answer, so I want to go through the comments and then I'm going to give my answer with this. Oceanside had more fans day one. I would agree with that. To look at it like this, bro. Y'all act like I had Beaumont last. I had Beaumont third in the NAL last year. Like, if you really look at the roster, this is not like your beloved Amarillo Warbirds. Right? These are real professionals. So, and then Oceanside seems to be doing it. Yeah, I think they seem to be doing a lot of civic engagement. It's hard to tell. You really don't know how much a team is in the community till you live in the community, right? We see it on social media. I will say Oceanside, in my opinion, does a little bit of a better job social media wise than San Diego, from what I see. So I think by the end of the season, Oceanside will have more fans. I think, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think the thing you need to look at with that too is like if you go to San Diego's website, I don't know if they've updated their website since like they released the IFL schedule. Like they don't promote. I don't know if San Diego has posted anything on their Twitter or X account in a while. I'd have to go look. I know they're kind of active on Facebook, but for the most part, man, like the Strike Force just don't really promote their product. Add that to the fact that they get Friday night games. Like last night, they put up 73 on Quad City. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. I don't know how many fans were in the stands. There might have been quite a bit, but Friday night in San Diego, you're probably looking for something else to do besides watching indoor football. And that's not a knock on San Diego or Oceanside or anything like that. It's just a product of your location.
And I want to go and actually look at this because I think this is really interesting. And that's crazy. You're right about that. Yo, look at this. They have not put anything on their website.
Yeah, they didn't do it last year either. They like barely update their schedule. They barely update their roster. When you go to their website, like their roster is the opening day roster, and it will stay that way throughout the entire season. Very rarely do they update it.
Insanity. I mean, how do you have a team and you don't update your website consistently? It's crazy to me.
Yeah, you play in the Major League of Indoor Football, and you can't update your website. I don't know if the league doesn't get after them or whatever the case could be. And I guess this is me calling out San Diego, but I've done it before. You need to update your stuff, man. You've got competition in your same arena. You want to prove yourself and get fans out to your games. It starts with this. Getting out to the fans, letting them see the website, letting them see all the transactions and stuff that you've done. Prove that you care.
What do you think about the Shady? How do you feel?
No, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I mean, promotion is everything in this game. And if you are not doing everything in your power to make yourself as presentable and as easy to find for your fans, then you're only shooting yourselves in the foot. So to Cody's credit, to your credit, they need to do a better job on this, whether it's on, the social media aspect of things, the website aspect of things. You need to put as much coverage out there as possible. And I mean, if you're not doing something where, if you don't have any big news coming out, it should be player highlights. It should be, brief interviews with players, or, we see it all the time from teams. So for San Diego not to do this is a little baffling to me, given that they're that established. But honestly, I'm not going to lie, I haven't paid that close of attention to their website personally, so I had not been aware that it was that bad. I knew they had always kind of been on the bottom of the pack in terms of the IFL and what they do on their website, but I didn't quite realize it was as bad as you guys are making it.
So really quick, San Diego Strike Force's last tweet was April 2nd. It was a retweet of the IFL. That was 2 weeks ago, over 2 weeks ago. They haven't tweeted in 2 weeks. They didn't even tweet that there was a game.
And yeah, see, that's bad. You need to be sharing out the link to the game, or at the very minimum, there needs to be a post. Hey, we have a game this week. you can come check us out here. You can watch it here, whatever it may be.
And it could be a thing where it's like I typed in SD Strike Force on Twitter. There might be a different Strike Force Twitter account. I'm not sure. There's multiple ones for like Green Bay. I know they only use one, but they have previous accounts and stuff too. So maybe it's a previous account, but if the last tweet was April 2nd, you're not really tweeting too much.
And I think this is just a really interesting thing Oceanside seems to be doing. Yeah, I just feel like, you lean in the community, the good things are going to come, but that falls on the organization, right? You're responsible for that. And so I feel like San Diego, from my opinion, and I think you guys would agree, if Oceanside gets more fans than San Diego does year one, like that would not be a good look for San Diego.
And that's the issue too. San Diego's gone to back-to-back Western Conference championships, and they still can't draw fans. They're not promoting that they go to the playoffs. They're not promoting that they go to the Western Conference championship. They're not promoting, period. They just sit there like, here's our product. Watch it if you do or don't. Like, how does that make me want to come out to a game?
I think there's this overwhelming feeling that, like, across these leagues, that if you build it, they'll come type mentality on some of these ownership groups, and it's just not accurate. Regardless of how much you win, look at Omaha. They win all the time, obviously this season being the outlier, and still they're in the community, they're promoting, like all of that stuff to get to the point where they have sellout games fairly regularly. So it takes a full effort from top to bottom. So 100% correct, Credit.
It does, 100%. So I kind of want to move on to this game before we talk about this week's games. Michigan and Nashville. I mean, what a game. 78-40. Darren Arbet comes out. He gets the boys ready to play. I'm going to show some stats, and then we'll talk about this. So if you look at the stat page, first of all, shout out to my boy Malik. I saw a comment up here. Let's see. It says about Malik. He says, what do you think of back for Henry? Well, that falls on the offensive line, man. If you have a shitty offensive line, right, you're going to have to throw up your back foot. And I think Michigan had done a terrible job finding offensive line. They had one good offensive lineman. His name is E.J. Price. And then they have Southwest Kansas leftover in Alex Heil. And then Southwest Kansas leftover. That means you're not a good player. So he was terrible last year in Southwest Kansas too. So they got to protect my boy Malik, man. Like, it's really sad to see, but he still threw for 285 yards, and he would have had over 400 if he had a good offensive line. 28 completions, 3 interceptions, but 2 of them were on the receivers. So I don't even blame him. And then 4 touchdown passes. If you look at the receiving stats, hey, I want you to talk about this one, Shady. Look at your boy. 11 catches. 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. Talk about him, man.
Well, I think this is exactly what you and I have been saying all along. He's not a quarterback. He's a wide receiver. If he wants to play at the next level, he is a wide receiver. I mean, listen to this: 6'3", 215 pounds, 4.5 second 40-yard dash. That to me is a wide receiver. And obviously, there's a lot more than goes into it, but I mean, he's built like a wide receiver, and this is showing exactly what he needs to do to get himself to the next level. He could be an elite level wide receiver if he dedicates himself to the craft, which apparently he has. And obviously Michigan realizes that he can be an elite playmaker. The dude is an athlete. Get the ball in his hands, let him figure it out. And so far they've done that. And I think this is a product of this is going to come off badly, and I don't mean it this way, but this is a product of the fact that he is probably the one elite athlete on that offensive in that offensive skill group outside of maybe Trey Long that hasn't really been tapped to their full potential. So I think Grissom is the guy that's kind of popping because he's the guy that has the highest upside at his position because he's really green there. So teams aren't sure what they have in him. And on top of that, I don't think Michigan really realized what they may have had in him when they brought him in. But he's a great fit in Leota's offense, and I think if you're Grissom and you're listening to this for whatever reason, man, you've found your position, buddy. Dedicate yourself to playing wide receiver, and there is zero doubt in my mind that you will get a shot outdoors in the near future. I mean, this proves it. This game proves it.
I want to go to Cody, but I want to ask you one question, Shady, and this is very interesting. Do you think he has beat out Jarvay Flowers for that number 3, or for that maybe number 2 receiver, number 1 spot, we'll say, per se, or in the rotation?
So that's a tough question to answer, and the reason why is because we all know Leota likes to throw the ball. We know he likes to spread the ball around. We know that he wants to get multiple receivers involved. So I think Jarvay Flowers, Trey Long, and Jairus Grissom give you 3 different versions of a dangerous receiver that can gash defenses in different ways. So with that in mind, I don't think any one of these guys are going to necessarily replace the other. I think they're there to complement each other. And I think, honestly, when you look at the sum of the parts, I think they can be a really, really good group. But you hit the nail on the head earlier. If they don't have an offensive line to block, then they're going to be in this same boat all game. They're going to put up some points for sure, but at the same time, they're also going to often get beat because Malik Henry is going to be throwing interceptions that he wouldn't normally throw because he's pressured. And then on top of that, he's going to get sacked a lot because he's not the most mobile guy in the world. So, I mean, with all that in mind, I mean, I think obviously Michigan's probably out there scouring the market trying to find offensive linemen, and we know for a fact they are. So, I mean, with that in mind, I mean, if they can improve that offensive line play, Michigan might actually be a really dangerous team to play against because, Malik is a good quarterback and he does have some really good receivers there. So, I mean, I think if I was in Leota's ear, I'd be like, hey, go get yourself a center, move Heil back to fullback, have him play fullback full time, and then, run your offense, throw it deep, get Grissom, Flowers, and Long involved, and then go from there.
I agree. And if you watch the game, a lot of Malik's passes are ahead of the receiver, right? He's leading the receiver to the wall because he doesn't have time to throw the football. And they're great passes, but you got to get him in line to protect him. Cody, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think Nashville is probably the second in command behind Albany, and Michigan looked better from their first game against Kentucky. They're still a learning process. They're still a brand new team. But again, we'll see how it kind of goes with them as the season progresses, because if they can't start stringing wins together, they're already, 0-2? I'm not saying that they're out of the running just yet, but you got to get some wins together. I think I don't know their schedule. You'd have to look it up. But, man, Nashville looks good. I took more from Nashville than I did from Michigan because you pretty much expected Nashville to win this game, and they looked good. So, like I said, I think Nashville is probably the second in command, maybe the first in command if they keep playing like what they just did. We'll see what happens when Nashville and Albany get together.
So I'll pose this question and then I'll give my thoughts. Shady. So Michigan coming up has Oregon. Michigan has Minnesota, Oregon, Minnesota, and Albany. Do you think they'll be able to bounce back this season and make the playoffs? I think he froze.
I think they'll win all their games. Thanks, Sam.
What do you think, Cody? You think Michigan can make the playoffs still, or you think they're a dying cause?
I think it's going to be a race between. Well, again, is it 4 teams that make the playoffs, or is it 6?
I believe it's 6.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, they've definitely got an opportunity because there's 9 teams in the league. So all you have to do is finish 6th out of 9. Nice. And then that's it, man. So there's definitely a possibility, because if we're already kind of discrediting Washington, you're kind of in a race right now with 8 teams. And I don't know. I think you're kind of in a pack with Minnesota, possibly Oregon, possibly Beaumont, as those 4 teams, Michigan included, for maybe that final playoff spot or maybe those final 2 playoff spots. Because if we're already going to kind of give it to Kentucky, Albany, and Nashville, you'll play itself out with the other 3 playoff spots with those 4 to 5 teams.
So I agree. I think Michigan has talent, but I also don't think they need to adjust the D line, the O line, and the DBs. I like this comment. They might want to find another DB. They need more than one DB, man. They need 2, honestly. And I feel like if they want to be competitive against the top team, Michigan's kind of in the weird spot where they're not ready to compete with Nashville or Albany yet, but they're also not like Washington level bad. So they're like kind of where Beaumont is in a way, like in that middle of the pack. So they need to figure out how they can separate themselves from that. And I think it's going to be an interesting thing for them. So we'll talk about this week games. We'll start with, there's only 2. So Albany and Beaumont. I mean, what do we think about this game? I mean, let's see. So Albany and Beaumont, 4 p.m. Eastern time. This is an exciting game. Beaumont's first game back. I believe they're doing a banner job for the NAL championship they won last year. Do you see any world where Beaumont can upset Albany and win this game?
You can. I mean, will it happen? I don't think so. There's a lot of stuff that they needed to correct. They got punched in the mouth and fell to the mat against Oceanside. Again, not to say that that's the end of the world and pack it all up, fold the team or anything, but at the same time, Albany is Albany, and until proven otherwise, we know that they're going to be a playoff contender, a championship contender. Beaumont, if they can keep this game close, there is the potential, but until then, I think Albany just kind of flexes their muscle when it comes to it, man. I think at the very end of it, you're going to get a 14 to 21 point victory for the Firebirds.
I wanted to welcome on our boy here, talk a little bit AF1, man. What's good, AC? How you doing, man? I think he froze.
I mean, I can hear his car. I don't know if he's muted or not.
We'll try to bring him back on. But no, so Albany, Beaumont. I think Beaumont can beat Albany, but I don't think they will. I think Albany is too much firepower on defense. Beaumont runs a kind of a shitty shotgun offense. So I'll ask you this. I know you've been an indoor football fan here for a while. Yep. Can an AF1 team run shotgun and win a championship running shotgun or no? Are those days over with?
For arena rules, it's very tough. You've definitely seen shotgun packages and stuff like that, but exclusively shotgun in arena rules, it's a very tough thing, man. There's a reason why they really don't do it too much. Not to say it can't be done. There's obviously clips and highlights. I mean, the Arizona Rattlers did it way back in the 90s and 2000s and what have you. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, man, you just can't really. Like I said, for maybe like your trick package, like how you go like jumbo package at the goal line, you bring in all the offensive linemen and stuff. When you do like a trick package like that, like your Wildcat or whatever, it can work. I don't think you can do it exclusively.
Yeah, we got AC on. What's good, AC?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Good, man. So we kind of want to get your thoughts on this Beaumont Albany game today. Who do you got winning?
It's hard to go against Albany, man. They got a well-oiled machine. I'm gonna take Albany.
And so I wanted to get your thoughts on kind of Minnesota. I know they have an interesting team coming in this season. Do you think they'll be competitive enough to win a championship in this league or no?
Can they be competitive enough? Yeah. It's hard with a first-year head coach, not necessarily a first-year coach. Like, Darren Clark knows the game. You know what I mean? He knows what it takes. And they have one of the best defensive minds I know, LJ Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So they know what to do to win. And, I mean, they know how to compete at that level. So they'll be able to compete, but there's so many powerhouse teams in the AF1 right now. it's just hard to say. You know what I mean? Albany is going to continue to be Albany. Kentucky's going to be Kentucky. You know, so it just depends. Those are my top two teams at the moment in that league.
For sure. I figured before we go to the last game, we'll talk about some transactional movement. We got Tyrone Laughinghouse. I know, you know him very well, AC. He signed with the Minnesota Monsters. Clarence Williams has been placed on IR. And then we got those are the kind of the two big moves. What do you think about Tyrone Laughinghouse signing with Minnesota?
I mean, Laugh is an exceptional player, man. So anywhere that he goes, he makes an instant impact. So I think it's definitely a big move, especially for a group that's more of a younger group of receivers. I think he'll definitely provide that veteran leadership and that knowledge. Like the arena game is so unique because it's based off of knowledge, more so talent. You know what I mean? Talent is more so of the plus side of having the knowledge of the game, because once you know the ins and outs, the nuances of it, you can play faster. And having that type of guy in that room just makes those guys be able to play faster. He'll be able to help them in certain ways. It does hurt with Clarence being out. I didn't know Clarence got hurt because um, Clarence was the guy that made that was the established guy in that room. So now they kind of just replace it with another established guy.
Most definitely, I agree. I think, having a veteran receiver, I think the guys stepping up, right? They're all rookies. So you need to add that kind of vet piece into the mix. I wanted to get your thoughts. What do you think about the state of the AF1 kind of overall going in this year?
I mean, they had its questions early, but it looks legitimate, and from broadcast production to, the appearance, the fields, the uniforms, and then the style of play. All the games are pretty much competitive. There's not too many lopsided games. It doesn't look like it has any holes anywhere. So it's definitely getting back to that brand that the AFL was at.
I kind of wanted to get your thoughts too on the Michigan Arsenal. Obviously, last year you played with Coach Lyota down in Wheelie. Do you think they're able to bounce back from starting 0-2?
For sure, without question. I mean, a lot of it is, a play call here or a missed assignment there, a bad snap, a bad ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he's been having to make a few moves like at the drop of a hat that he wasn't necessarily prepared for. But Coach Lyota is one of the best coaches in terms of knowing the game, knowing how it works, being able to get guys to play and understand his system. And Jeremy's going to do the same thing. So I don't see them having an issue. Like, majority of the games, they got out of hand. Like last night, it got out of hand later, but they were right there in the game the entire time. You know what I mean? And the game against Kentucky, they took it down to the wire. But I don't think coach is going to have any issues.
Most definitely. And then, the final game of the weekend for the AF1 is Oceanside going to Kentucky. Who do you think is going to come out with this?
Kentucky. Like, I don't have any doubts. Kentucky's too strong from a leadership standpoint, and then the playmakers, they have both. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes down to those last 2 minutes of that fourth quarter, you can rely on their leadership from a coaching standpoint and from a play call standpoint, and then their defensive prowess with guys like Joe Powell, spearheading that back end. He'll have them in position to make sure that they're where they need to be. Same thing with DP. DP will do the same thing, and they still got playmakers like Jalen and all those guys as well, so they'll be fine.
What do you think about this game, Cody? Who do you got winning?
Well, two things really quick. One, going back to the Beaumont-Albany game, do you think it's a little weird that they're unveiling the banner for the NAL championship knowing that they're in a different league? Like, I feel like that banner should just be in the rafters. Like, I get that should be, like, you want to have the ceremony for it, but you're not that league anymore. It seems kind of weird to me. So, yeah, I wanted to kind of touch on that really quick. But for this game right here between Oceanside and Kentucky, I don't know if Oceanside has lightning hit twice I think Kentucky's going to take this one. It might be a little bit closer than some people think, just based on recency bias with Oceanside getting their victory and Kentucky not looking like the Kentucky that most people are thinking. But I can see this one being somewhere between like 42-34, 42-36 or something like that. As they kind of trade touchdowns, I think Kentucky makes one more play, whether it's a turnover, a stop, whatever it is.
Most definitely, I think.
Triple McGee, I'm not discrediting that, man. You have to give credit for the championship. That's what the banner's for. Like the banner's in the rafters, but to unveil it when you're already in a different league, that's kind of weird. That's like the Rattlers unveiling an AFL banner when they're in the IFL. Like, okay, cool, you won the championship, but you're not in that league anymore. It's just weird to me. Maybe I'm in the minority when it comes to that, and that's perfectly fine. But it just speaks weird to me.
I could see them doing I could see them doing a ring ceremony versus unveiling a banner. I mean, I get it though. You want recognition for what you've done. I get it. But I could see them doing more of a ring ceremony than unveiling a banner. But to each their own. You can't. Their success is their success, and having that first year success kind of gives in extra motivation.
Agreed. So Oceanside Beaumont, Oceanside Kentucky. You guys kind of said it. I think Kentucky's going to win this game by 20 points. They're at home. They got Dalton Oliver at quarterback. I will say Darius Prince does look a little out of shape. So I think it's going to take him some time to kind of get back in shape, but he should be fine. But it's going to be a good show. We'll take a quick break and talk about the NAL. We got some good matchups coming up here. So.
Russell into the end zone, touchdown! Russell has to step up in the pocket, has some room in front of him, gets that three-step drop, here comes the pressure, passes complete to Flowers, back to pass, pressure coming, has somebody in the end zone, touchdown! Russell, pressure's coming, Russell able to escape, still on his feet, and will be brought down at the looking, has plenty of time, has Flores at the 15, he's at the 10, and Russell has it on the outside, like I said, he ain't taking a slide, Russell steps up, let's go, Robinson makes the circus catch. It's going to be a low snap, here comes the pressure, and the pass is going to be complete, and making the catch of Grant Russell. Russell, back to pass, looking, he has Robinson makes the catch, and will be brought down on the play by Isaiah Hall.
This is current. It's the card my parents used to pay me for mowing the lawn, running errands, and doing well in school. This is the card I...
Okay, so we got Cody back. So we got some big NAL games tonight. We'll start with transactions. We got Tobias Taylor coming back to Omaha. Obviously, he left early in the season. Really weird move, in my opinion. We got Devonair Concliffe, someone who played in Quad City. I know Cody. I thought he was going to have a huge impact with Quad City, and then he fled to Omaha. So big move there for him coming back IR. Any moves on this list that stand out to you? We'll start with Cody.
Let me see if I can look at it really quick. It's really small on my screen. Mainly it's the Omaha ones. They need to do anything to get a victory. I know it looks like Louisiana's releasing some guys and signing some stuff too. We'll see how that can translate to wins potentially, but I don't know, man. It's mainly Omaha. If you can get these guys to play and play well and start stacking some wins and getting back on the winning train, that's all you need. Fans are angry. Coach is gone. You're going to see what Omaha is capable of in the next couple of games, and if it can translate to victories and wins and a playoff appearance, because everyone, myself included, was like Omaha is probably destined for the championship, and now you're wondering if they can even win a playoff game, even win a game at this point, man. So, yeah, I think a lot of those transactions, you got to look at the beef and go, let's get off the schneid here and get this victory.
Agreed. I mean, no moves kind of stand out. I mean, I like Tobias coming back. Devinir Clip coming back. Jordan Barton going to Louisiana. I think that's a kind of silly move in my opinion. I think he should have signed. He doesn't care about winning anymore. He just cares about getting receptions and targets. He's a nice guy too, but Jonathan Chica, he played down Wheeling last year. He went 5 for 16 on field goals. He's okay. And then Damon Powell, this is a good move. He was the draft prospect from Stony Brook, good move for Amarillo. Surprised they can finally find offensive linemen, with the shitty management they have down there. And then let's see, Louisiana, no big moves here, honestly. So let's go into we'll talk about this. Southwest Kansas, they signed. I know you're a big FCS football fan, so they signed Trey Self from Stephen F. Austin to replace your favorite quarterback in the league, Matt Stuck. How do you feel about that, man? What do you think?
Well, I mean, if the rumors are true that Struck's done for the year, then you need someone to pick up the slack. And man, to get someone like him, that's a really good signing. Will it translate? It remains to be seen. He hasn't taken a snap with Southwest Kansas. So while it looks good on paper, the signing looks good. Again, I hate not talking in absolutes. It kills me. But at the same time, until the game is played, until you can actually get those stats down and the chemistry with those players and the timing routes and everything with those wide receivers, and if the offensive line can protect, it remains to be seen. So we'll see how that goes, because I think he should be able to step right in and be good. But what nuances, what tendencies does he have? How long does he hold on to the ball compared to Struck? Things like that in this offense. Can he take off? Can he scramble? Can he do all that stuff? Can he do it in the right timing? Again, it all just kind of boils down to, let's see how he plays the game before we start kind of overreacting to it. So that's what I want to see first, and then I'll kind of take my my opinions with that.
AC, I want to get your thoughts on Omaha being 0-4. Like, what do you think about that? Oh, you're on mute. Hold on. You're good.
Okay. I think it's just a struggle. You know what I mean? You never know what each new season will bring, and I think it just brought some obstacles that they weren't prepared for.
We'll go ahead and pick each NAL game. So we'll start with Amarillo and Southwest Kansas. AC, I know you're really high on Coach J.A. Anderson, former Monterey Steel head coach. He comes over to Amarillo. They're obviously 1-4. Do you think he has enough to beat Southwest Kansas tonight? Oh.
I don't think he can beat them. I mean, they both got a lineup in play, but Southwest Kansas looks good. I told you my pick for the NAL was Salina, and I'm gonna stick with Salina. But some of those, historic, whether you want to call them Southwest Kansas, Dodge City, whatever, some of those CIF style indoor teams, they just have, this is their style of play. So I just see them being successful. All the teams outside, like, that's why the Omaha thing is pretty surprising. But knowing how the roots of what Omaha is known for versus what they are at the moment is different, that really reflects to where they are in terms of struggling. But, Southwest Kansas, Salina, Sioux City, you see them having success because it's their show. This is their style. It's really the CIF 2.0.
we want to welcome on our new co-host here. We got the new defensive back coach for the Beaumont Renegades for at least this game. We got Coach B. What's good, Coach? How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. So we're talking about Omaha Beef. Obviously, they're 0-4. Do you think they have enough to bounce back?
If they got a solid quarterback in, I see they got Gio. Gio can do what he need to do. I think they can bounce back. Honestly, I think they got a chance if they put the right pieces together. But it's gonna be a long shot. I'm just being realistic with you. They got a couple playmakers on offense, but not enough playmakers on defense.
What do we consider bouncing back? That's the question.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To the winning culture, AC.
And 0-4 is hard. Like, bro, they almost got to run the table.
They do, and this is where you're gonna see if they really the beef or they getting beef.
Man, for real. Like, they got to run the table. I just don't see that, man. Like, it's too many other good teams. I don't see that happening.
You see the transactions. There's been a lot of shakeup in the transactions. It got some stuff going on. If they can run the table, then we say they are the Omaha Beef that we thought they was supposed to be. If they can't, then we know something got to change. The change that they made, I don't think that's the change that's gonna help them do it. That D coordinator is not ready for this. I don't think he is. That defense has been awful this season. So
I am optimistic that they could make it respectable, for sure. I'm very optimistic in that they can make it respectable, but running the table is gonna be tough.
they should, if they was gonna do that, being realistic with you, what you think they need? They need a real coach. They can't have who they got right now to do that. Just being realistic with you.
I mean, defensively, he is the defensive mind. So on their team, that's where it's gonna start.
It ain't started in 4 games. He's been a defensive coordinator since the start of the season. So
That's true.
When is it gonna change? Like
That's
if you
true.
if you cut the head off the snake, you gotta take everybody with him and replace them and change the whole culture in the locker room because the culture is horrible in that locker room.
Yeah.
I want to ask AC this question. So, at the end of the season, say Omaha doesn't win a playoff game, right? And they're looking for a new head coach. If you're ownership, who would you go after? Give me like 3 names.
Off the top of my head, obviously I'll throw Rez in there for sure. Trying to think. I would throw Anson in there, but I'm pretty sure Anson should be up for an IFL job. Like at this point in his career, definitely. And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it wouldn't be a knock to bring Kaiser back or Tatum. Why not? Like,
Didn't I say that, Chris? Didn't I say that, Chris? They will have to bring Kaiser and Tatum back to restore the culture because that's where the culture left with.
And it's not. I'm not saying this off of qualification necessarily. I'm saying this off of knowing the game, having some type of skin in that game, being the CIF because that's what it is, and then understanding how Omaha operates. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you got who was the head coach of the Nebraska Danger?
That was Mike Davis. He'd never go there.
Well, it's Mike Davis, and I think after that they had I think they had Adam Shackelford for a minute. I think they had Pig Brown at some point.
Yeah, I'm talking about after Davis left. I know Davis ain't going. Hell no.
I think it was Shackelford for a minute, and he's with San Diego.
And Pig retired. Talked to him a while ago. He's not gonna coach, especially not nowhere in that area.
Yeah,
there might have been one.
I know it's a lot of bad blood, but the DC from Sioux City, if he was looking for a head coach job, he wouldn't be a bad idea.
If that's the case, he'll take over for Lowe. He's next in line to take over for Lowe. Why would he leave there? That's a tradition. I'm telling you right now, one place he won't play is Sioux City or Coach.
Nah, this is just hypothetical. You know what I'm saying? It's just hypothetical. I know it won't happen. That's like a perfect world scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause money talk. You feel me? So you wanna try to uproot somebody, you're gonna have to pay to play.
So I think the coach. Are you thinking about Curtis Chen? Because he came right after Davis. I just looked it up.
Yeah, it hurt us.
Okay. Well,
But it would be. But honestly, man, leaving the IFL was foolishness. Like, I can't lie. Like, just at the trajectory the IFL is going, there's no point leaving the IFL. You know what I mean?
I have
It's too hard to get in there anyway.
I have 2 names, and they're really, really good. So I want you guys to listen up. 3 names. All right. Mike Tatum. You bring Tatum back. Number 2, Jason Gibson. If he gets let go from Jacksonville this year, that could be a great hire for them. And then number 3 would be Jermaine Hampton from Salina, defensive coordinator. I think that could be 3 really good names. What do you think about that, Cody?
Those are good names. I mean, Gibson might be a little bit too high profile. What I mean by that is going what AC said with, IFL-ness. But to that credit, though, I will bounce off that. What about, to go along with that Nebraska dangerousness, what about someone like Zavi Jackson? Defensive line coach for the Nebraska Danger. He's with New Mexico right now. He's been with Vegas. He's been all around.
They wouldn't be able to pay them guys to lead the IFL. Some of the assistant coaches in the IFL are getting NAL head coaches money. Why would they leave that to go be a head coach there and make less money? It don't make sense.
What about Richard Davis from Oklahoma in Dodge City Law? That could be a good one.
Or that would be a horrible hire. A horrible hire.
Hey, the one guy I did forget. Either one of the co-head coaches in Pueblo. Either one of them.
Either one.
They would
seeing what they
would never go to Omaha either because the bullet is so bad over there. With JT being dismissed over there and then them shooting shots and suspending their coach or the league suspending their coach on their behalf. It's just too much bad blood. And then I know Solo. Solo is Sioux Falls Storm, Wichita Wild through and through. He would never coach there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just depends, man.
Hey, what about your boy? What about your guy, Coach McKinney? No.
I mean, for what? You know what I'm saying? McKinney is an AFL style play, through and through. McKinney don't like that game.
Yeah, he don't like it at all.
Kenny don't like that game. So if they if they went to that style, sure. But if not, nah. Because some guys McKinney knows the game up, down, left, right, ring the game. So you take away what makes him exceptional as a coach. You know what I'm saying? For what?
Being realistic, Chris, being realistic, where he at right now is the best fit for McKinney. You know what I'm saying? As AC, me, you, McKinney done had conversations. Even when he was with me as my OC, he only did it because he wanted to do it because of me, the love he got for me. But he don't fit the IFL, NAL style play. He is an AFL style coach. That's where his bread and butter is.
Sure.
All right, I got a name, and then I like this too. Rod Miller. You think Rod Miller would do it? Nah, he already done that. Been there, done that. What do you think?
They'd be better off getting Tommy.
Getting Tommy to coach. Someone said that to me the other day too.
They'd be better off just getting Tommy, man. Paying what he want. His name is gold there. You'd be better off doing that.
I would be with it. But before we, start doing our picks for this week, what about one name, AC? And we'll kind of get into this later, but CJ Kane, he's the offensive coordinator. He's your former teammate. You think he would be good?
As the head coach?
Yes.
in an interim position, sure. But I wouldn't want CJ to be put in a situation because he's available versus put in a situation in a situation because he's ready. You know what I'm saying? This is his first time being an OC. You know what I'm saying? And even in that, it was in a limited role between him and the grown. I would rather see him have a chance to actually be a coordinator than be a head coach. Like a lot of times you see these guys get pushed into positions and then get booted out because you just forced them there because you didn't have anyone else or someone was willing to take lesser money or something like that. And it does nothing. You end up running in circles. I wouldn't want to see CJ put in a position to where he's set up to fail. It take a lot to build a team. Like he would need a full off season to actually build his roster. Like, it would just take time. Right now, it's like trying to stop the water from spilling.
Yeah,
I mean,
first off, they gotta pay a coach to come in there, a real coach. You can't give him pennies on dollars and make him a salesman. That's not what a coach is. You need a coach that's gonna coach and win. Having a
and
salesman, that's for your marketing
coordinators
team.
don't make head coaches either. Like that's a misconception.
Yes.
Some guys are great coordinators and not head coaches.
Well said, AC. Well said. Just because you can call a game, don't mean you're a head coach material. It takes a whole different breed to be a head coach. A
Yeah.
lot of hours, a lot of game planning, a lot of late nights.
And you got to be a leader of men. Every dude ain't that. You got to be able to have a locker room response to you. Every guy can't do that.
Makes sense. He makes sense.
I want to pose this question to the group, and we'll start with Cody. And this is kind of an interesting one, and I want to get into this too deeply. So CJ is taking over. You know, CJ's been our boy for a minute, right? Like that's our guy. So we obviously want to see CJ do well and be successful in the league. From a schematical standpoint, though, what do you think needs to change about Omaha offensively?
That's a good question.
Pass the ball more.
Do what?
They need to pass the ball more and stop trying to have a running identity. That's not them. Omaha's known for slinging the ball, having a high power offense, not no slow pace running offense. They tried to change the narrative this year and run a little bit more, and that's just not, it don't fit their culture.
I mean, for me, I'm not really sure when it comes to the offensive prowess, mainly just due to the fact that they've gone through the quarterbacks that they have. I think first and foremost, you just need to get a quarterback that will be there for multiple games and have some continuity. They've gotten some players off of injured reserve. We'll see how they fit into the scheme and things along those lines. And it's not trying to sugarcoat anything. It's mainly just like there has not been any consistency offensively, whether it's been, hey, we're running the ball and it's not working, so now we have to pass it and that's not working. Like there just has not really been any consistency. I think to Coach B's credit, you have to kind of sit there and say, what is our identity? Are we more of a passing team? Are we more of a running team? And Omaha's kind of at a crossroads right now with the change in leadership, with the change in coaching and stuff like that, where do you know what your offensive identity is? Did you know it in the first 4 weeks and it just wasn't working, or what was it? So I think that's something that needs to be figured out kind of here in the back half of the season. How do you get that offense clicking? Is it more passing? Is it more running? How do you get that consistency, whether through the quarterback position, through the wide receivers, through the running back? How can you get them all to click together?
All right, AC, I'll ask you the same question. From a schematic standpoint, what does Omaha needs to change offensively?
You know, like they got to establish a run game. Tobias leaving hurt them, but they put Tobias in a position where he was substituting at quarterback. Like that, the indoor game uses the run to set up the pass. They can't do either one. You
They
know what
see
I
they got
mean?
Tobias back. He signed back.
He came back. That's the first step in the right direction because they got to be able to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? So them being able to do that, now they should be able to do some things in the passing game. We just got to see. You know what I mean? But it starts with that run game.
See, I like this comment from Ricky. You know, he says it's funny. I've been to 5 state championship games, and you think I've forgotten what to do overnight. Like, you know, I love you, Ricky, but I think times have changed, AC. I really do. You know, like that's just my opinion. I think it's different. I think today's NAL, you would admit this, you played in the league last year. How much more competitive is the league this year? I mean, I think the league this year, Coach B, the NAL as a whole is so much more competitive than last year.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You got Pueblo, who came out of nowhere, but you knew they were going to be decent. Colorado always going to be good. You got Salina. You know, Coach O and Coach Hampton was going to cook up something, and Coach Thomas over there in Southwest, he's no slouch either. Sioux City is always going to compete, no matter what you get through and through every year. Sioux City is going to compete. So yes, the NAL did get stronger, but they just put the old CIF back together. That's all they did. It made it a league again.
What do you think about that, AC?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The first year, Omaha and Solana came in, even though I was in Carolina, I'm like, man, it's their league. You know, they came in, they changed the rules from the traditional NAL rules to the IFL rules. And then you brought in two pillar organizations of then the CIF, which was Solana and Omaha. I mean, not Solana and Omaha, but Sioux City and Omaha. So I'm like, man, that first year, that's why I said was going to be in a championship, Sioux City and Omaha, and they ultimately were, because it's their style of play, you know. And now it is just a better rebrand of the CIF, which is cool, you know what I mean. But they just got better. They got better with teams that know what they're doing. Now they add in Dodge City, they add in Solana, and it's just a better brand of that,
For
you
sure.
know. And I don't think like I kind of went out when Ricky made his statement about forgetting what he's done. I don't think I mean, forgetting what overnight.
That was a really good point by AC. Cody, will go to you. So Omaha tonight, they go into Denver, Colorado, and they play the Colorado Spartans. Obviously, the Spartans are 2-3, coming off a big win against Amarillo in their home opener. Talk to me about this game. Who do you got winning? Bias aside.
I mean, there's no bias at all. I don't root for either team, but I go with
Yeah,
the team.
I know you're an Omaha fan. You just wearing a Southwest Kansas jersey by accident.
I don't root for Omaha. I don't. You can ask me who's all on the team, and I can't even name you the quarterback. It's James Summers until he got released.
Cole Dudley, man, that's your favorite player, right?
I mean, he's one of my favorite players because he subscribes to the YouTube channel. Man, he's been with Quad City, but I mean, again, I can talk to the guy. Doesn't mean I'm a fan of Omaha. I like Omaha, but I'm not going to sit there and be like I'm a super fan. I don't quit on him after one breakfast and no wins like you do, bud. But like for this game, I'm probably going to go with the team that has wins. Omaha can shock and surprise here, but right now they're down to the dumps. And if you get this victory against Colorado, it could maybe springboard you into more victories and stuff. But going on the road, Colorado's, yes, they've taken their lumps too, and it's nothing to sneeze at. I don't think Colorado's wins have been too impressive, but they've gotten wins, and we'll see what happens. We will, but I don't know. I just Omaha's in a very weird spot where I feel like if they lose this game, things are just going to spiral even more out of control, man.
So, am I crazy, AC? And I want Coach B's opinion on this. When I watch Omaha, they sit back in zone coverage the entire game. Like, is that just me, or is that like?
No, that's not you. That's his identity. He runs a lot of zone. But at the end of the day, it's arena football. Zone eventually turned into man. And I just think his guys in the back end are older. They older players. He got a lot of old players there. So they just get a little lazy. Instead of carrying their players, they passing it off. They passing it off and not picking it up. But he does play a lot of zone. And that's probably gonna be his downfall.
Agreed. What do you think about this one, AC? Who do you got winning?
I got Colorado winning, but in terms of their defensive prowess, like you got to be able to have a mixture of both. If a guy runs a lot of man, you just run on him. If a guy is going to play a lot of zone, you know what I'm saying? He's susceptible to the pass because all you do is find the window. So you really got to be able to have both, because if you stick to one thing, we all got film to study. So we'll just figure out what the holes are in that zone and just maximize them, and then we'll just use your weaknesses against you. You got to be able to do both. You know what I'm saying? If you're not throwing man at us at least sometimes, there's no point in us running the ball. We'll just keep attacking you especially with a mobile quarterback. So it just depends. Like it just got to be a mix up. Like I don't know. Not against what Coach B is saying. It might be because of age. I'm not sure. You know, I don't know all of those players, but if they can go man, they at least have to show it.
We talk about, how creative you can be as a play caller, and that comes with experience. Adam Loftus has been doing this for a while, so I would hope that he would be able to switch up his scheme a little bit. I think tonight is a big test for Omaha. I think people are kind of overestimating. I respect Omaha. I respect what they got. I respect CJ, but I don't think Coach Loftus is ready for this opportunity to be a head coach of this franchise. So I think Colorado has so many playmakers. I think they're going to run all. I think Omaha defense is the most overrated unit in the entire league. They've shown me all year they're soft. They're soft at the line of scrimmage. They don't get off the blocks. They don't have help on the O-line either. Their O-line is weak. I think Colorado defensive line is going to have a field day. Give me Colorado by 14 points. I got Colorado winning this football game 42-28. I think that's fair.
I will say this though. I'm not the type of guy. I don't want to put everything in coaches' laps. Players still got to play.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? You can have the best coaches in the world. Players still have to play. You know what I'm saying? Because even if coach puts you in the best situations, the best schemes, whatever you can say, you still got to show up and play and execute the scheme. So at the end of the day, do you want to keep losing or do you not? You know what I'm saying? Because at some point we got to start earning our money. You know what I mean? So the coordinator, and the head coach is only as good as his coordinators can be. You know what I mean? So with CJ, I'm sure CJ has put together a scheme, having played himself against this Colorado team. He knows what he can do to maximize his players and what he has, especially with getting Tobias back. The players just got to play.
Agreed, but AC, that comes down to also you want better players, right? You got to go find them. And I think Omaha for years has always relied, we talked about it on the vets, right? You got Chris Perry, you got Trey Dudley, you got all these guys. And I love those guys. I think those guys are amazing. But when you rely on vets so much, eventually that becomes a problem, right? It becomes, it's kind of guys who overstay their welcome per se. You would agree with that, I feel like.
I actually don't agree with that.
Really?
Because if you really think about it, the IFL was ran by vets in terms of Sioux City for how long? Arizona came in, that rule just matriculated to where you can only have so many vets. It's before the XFL partnership, and they broke that team up. Why they do that? You know what I'm saying? Because they had a veteran-based team that went on a run of winning like 4 or 5 championships in a row. So it really isn't about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to be able to play, because one thing that is a good thing about having vets, when you come into camp, having practice. You don't come into camp looking to just evaluate players. You know what I'm saying? So you already start 4 or 5 steps ahead rather than starting from ground zero, because you don't got to teach as much. So there's benefits to both. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it kind of just how you look at it, right? Obviously, them not having Tommy is a big deal, but I think Omaha, maybe this is not their year. I think they'll have a losing record, and I think they'll lose in the first round of the playoffs. This game is interesting, though. I want to spend time talking about this. Salina and Sioux City. Sioux City's coming up a tough loss in Southwest Kansas. where they took the game away. Salina's coming off a bye week. Cody, who you got winning this game? Give me your in-depth analysis on this one.
I think Salina takes it. Here's your in-depth analysis. Salina just looks like the better team here. I worry a little bit about going on the road. We know that, we know that Sioux City can pull upsets. We know Sioux City can win games, but I don't know. Salina just looks like one of these teams that's on a mission. They do. And that's not to say that they might not get tripped up. This could be the game that trips them up. I just don't see it. In my brain, I see a scenario where Salina wins more than Sioux City does. But stranger things can happen. Sioux City can pull this upset and then kind of, turn the world on its head a little bit.
Okay. What do you think about AC? What do you think about this one?
I got Salina winning. I think it's going to be an interesting game, but I got Salina winning.
Let's see. I got Sioux City winning. I'm gonna go against you guys. I like Sioux City to win this football game. I think Sioux City's at home. This is a bounce back spot for them. Salina's coming out of a bye week. Salina's also dealing with some injuries up front. They did sign a player that you were excited about, Cody from Vegas Nighthawks, D lineman from TCU. So, that's a good signing for them.
Yeah, that's a really good signing. Like I said, for Salina to get after it, I think they. How do I say this without doing like coach speak? Like they got to win in all facets of the game because I know Sioux City can trip them up. To your credit, if you think Sioux City is going to pull the upset, how do you think they're going to pull the upset?
Man, they're gonna run the ball with Jack Mack. That's the only way, right? Yeah, against the D line that's injured, right? You got a great running back. They need to get him more involved in the passing game too. So, what do you think about this game, Coach B? Who you got winning? Looks like Coach B stepped away. We'll go to the final two games real quick. Let's see. We got Dallas. Final one. Dallas, Louisiana. This is kind of a weird one. I mean, I don't even know who to pick. AC, who do you got winning this one? Oh, yeah, I'm mute. Here we go.
Bro, that's a toss-up. I don't know. Where they playing at?
Louisiana. Yeah, we got Louisiana. I feel like I got Louisiana winning. I mean, they signed Jordan Barton. I feel like they're good enough. I think Dallas can put up a fight. I'm not going to be watching this game. Honestly, you can't pay me enough money to watch a game of this quality. I know Cody will be watching, though, so he can enjoy it.
But, buddy, I'm down in Tulsa. I ain't watching this. I'm watching Fishers and the Oilers in the IFL. I think Louisiana can win this game at home. I do. Dallas, they're lucky to get a win, I guess. But at the same time, I don't know. Everyone is in agreement. This is a toss-up. It can go either way. I'm not shocked one bit if Dallas wins. I'm not shocked one bit if Louisiana wins. I think consensus would say Louisiana at home. I think they've got more talent and a better roster, but that means absolutely nothing sometimes in this game. Just because you look like you're the better team, you can go out there and always lay an egg. And we know that these two teams are probably towards the middle, towards the bottom of the NAL. I still Louisiana winning. Again, not shocked whatsoever if Dallas pulls this out.
So we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the Indoor Football League. We got a lot to talk about with that. I know AC has some thoughts. I have some thoughts, too, about my team last night. We'll be good.
Omaha Beef Football! Prime Dancers! Rump Roasters! Slaughterhouse! Are you ready? DJ Next One. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange really wanted. Beef Nation got them shaking, got a ring and me flaunting. Prime chances be on it.
All right, here's the Omaha Beef and their commercial. The leading line
Ricky
is
is the
their
G. Say it,
commercial.
let's go, Beef. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the slaughterhouse. Orange and Black about to win this. Defense stays on attack. You on a hit list. Spiking, blocking, and dumping, jumping out the gymnasium. You want to see the best? Meet us at the Beef Stadium. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Let's go, Beef. Orange Kingdom. Slaughterhouse. Orange Kingdom. Prime dancers. Orange Kingdom.
Let's roll, baby.
Something going on with the internet. I know my hotel internet kind of sucks.
So when you lose, you got to take accountability. But let's start with last week, and then we'll talk about last night. So Cody, just go through each game for me and talk to me, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Go through each game as in last week.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'll make this short and sweet because I'm about to check out of my hotel room in a couple hours. Northern Arizona, New Mexico. Both these teams are poop, but someone had to win. New Mexico and Northern Arizona just like traded leads, man. Like Northern Arizona looked all right. They were getting back into it. New Mexico looked all right. They're getting back into it. And then so now New Mexico pulls out the victory. Iowa Fishers. Oh, buddy, this was a bloodbath. Fishers absolutely dominated Iowa. Fishers has been on a tear. Iowa, again, you see signs of life with Iowa. You see improvements. You don't really see much of an improvement when you're going up against the Fishers Freight. No amount will tell you anything when it comes to that. Fishers dominated them. I don't know. Like, I think when I did my recap, I think Fishers had 2 total third downs in the entire game. And again, that's the Indoor Football League stats. Take it with a grain of salt. Quad City and Green Bay. Boy, am I glad to be wrong about this one. I picked Green Bay just because they've looked good all season, and at the time they were undefeated. Quad City said, nah, not this time. They actually got out to a decent lead. They held on to it. Kudos to Quad City, man. They got after Liam Thompson. They did exactly what they needed to do. The defense looked good. The offense had players getting into a rhythm here. They had more than just DeQuan Neal play, even though he played really well as well. But getting Kevon Rudd a couple of touchdowns, Kean Williams, a little quiet. But when you have other players step up, it's okay to have a quiet game. San Antonio and Arizona, close game. Closer than Arizona probably would like, but at the very end of it, Arizona did flex their muscle when it came to this. San Antonio, we need to talk about their offense and their defense, man. It's not clicking out there in San Antonio, man. The offense looks lost. I don't know what their identity is. I've been asking that for a while, ever since Sam Castronova left. What's our offensive identity for San Antonio? Are you going to be a more passing offense? What do you do with the running back? Keyshawn Harper was kind of a running back catching passes out of the backfield last year. It's more of the same, man. I mean, KJ Smith looks good. I don't know if he is the piece in that offense to make it go. You need to really rely on Joaquin Colazo. I don't know if you can. Austin Upshaw's looked really good, a nice bright spot, but Glenn Gibbons on injured reserve. You've lost Callie Rashad. You've lost Nyquan Murray. Your offense is taking a hit. Arizona, again, Arizona's going to do Arizona things. They're back in it. San Diego, pulling out the victory, man. Pulling out the victory against Tucson in a game that Tucson may have had no business winning if they did pull out the victory. Kind of the same thing with San Diego. There's just mistakes. I think it was 2 interceptions and a fumble for San Diego's offense. Tucson ends up, coming back in this game just for San Diego to score late. I think Tucson had the 1-minute warning, couldn't pull it out. San Diego takes the victory. To the Sunday games, Orlando and Tulsa, just Orlando Devil Magic. I have no idea how else to describe it. At that time, Orlando they looked good. Let Tulsa get into the game. Tulsa hits that field goal to tie it up at 55, send it to overtime, and then just mistakes, man. Mistakes in overtime. They can't kicked the field goal in overtime, and then one play, one touchdown to Thomas Owens seals the deal for the Pirates. Jacksonville and Vegas. Vegas just flexed their muscle. There were some mistakes, false starts, penalties, and stuff like that Jacksonville had that they just couldn't come back from. And then you have the pick six from Ershad Davis, and the Nighthawks were just kind of cruising at that point. Obviously, you have the Madden celebration with Quentin Randolph. That's gone a little bit viral with that. So any publicity is good publicity, I get. But again, Vegas raising their own banner. That one's not weird because they're in the same league. I know I'm in the minority, but I have to say that. But yeah, a good game for Vegas. A little bit back to the drawing board for Jacksonville. Hey, we're back at the drawing board. Jacksonville destroys Orlando. And I caught bits and pieces of the game last night on overnight. And Jacksonville and Orlando for a little bit were trading touchdowns because I think at one point it was like 34-27 and then 45-27, and then Orlando would score, Jacksonville would score, and then eventually Jacksonville just ended up. They just flexed their muscle too, man. They just came out and just kind of dominated. And more can be said for the nightcap in the games between Quad City and San Diego. Those teams were trading touchdowns. I think at one point the broadcast said no one had forced a stop until Quad City until San Diego got a stop, and then Quad City had a pick. And then after that, I mean, San Diego just turned on the afterburners. You know, the score's close, but man, Quad City's defense, I've said it for years, and playing on the road, I've said it for years. There's something that just has to be said about Quad City of just not being able to get the job done on the road. So, yeah. But hey, Krish, how's Orlando doing?
Yeah, obviously last night was kind of emotional. It took a lot out of me. I hate to see my boys go down like that, but it's you bounce back. I mean, Mike Davis and Vegas were 11-20 the first 2 years. No one talks about that. So, everyone loses. Every champion has taken its losses at some point. Obviously, we have a much higher standard than that here. And I know Jawad, I think Jawad is still the best GM in the country. And I know he'll go out and find, better talent defensively. I think we have the guys on the defensive line. Our DBs, man, we got a long way to go with that unit. But, it's hard, man. It's hard to take a loss. We got the quarterback to win the championship with. We need to get better defensively. They beat us in all three phases. You take a lot. We're still 3-1. Last time I checked, we're still tied for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So, we go back, we get back to the drawing board and go to Green Bay. But Cody, how do you feel about Quad City? Like, give me your full. I know you were having a breakdown last night, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, like I said, like I just mentioned though, man, like both teams, the overhit so quickly, and I figured that's what it would be because both these defenses leave a lot to be desired. It's just Quad City's defense was getting beat so easily. There's so many touchdowns where like Davis was just throwing it up to like Shane Hooks or Jalen Sample or whoever, and it was just, hey, is there even going to be a defender covering him? Because there was so much separation between the wide receivers and the defensive backs. And it's what I said in my preview the other night, where you need to get pressure on Davis. He is a statue, but you can't keep dropping all of those guys in coverage, and you can't keep blitzing and not getting home. Kudos to San Diego where it is. Like, I'm not a sore loser by any means. It sucks to see this because there's definitely questions with Quad City that you need to raise. Why can't they win on the road? Why is their defense giving up so many damn points, whether it's to Fishers, whether it's to, even Green Bay, they gave up 36, but that's a better defensive performance. They gave up points to Orlando. They gave up points. They gave up 73 points to San Diego. I don't know if it's the worst or the most amount of points they've given up. It's been the most that they've given up in a long time. Actually, not really. They gave up 71 to Green Bay in the Eastern Conference Championship. So what am I talking about? But either way, it's like they're just giving up points, man. You got to find a way to stop the bleeding because you can't keep getting into these shootouts because if you do and your offense doesn't step up, you're going to lose more games than you win.
A lot of respect for you, Coach, but, I'm just stating a fact, and we'll bounce back. We'll be fine.
Hey, in Coach's defense, when I do my team previews and stuff, I do mention that he was 11-20. They didn't make the playoffs for a while, and then they won a championship. So they've got the same amount of championships as Orlando does in the IFL.
No. That is true, but they don't have the same amount of conference championships. And he hasn't been 2 championships in Vegas. Jawad has been to 2 championships in Orlando. So and Mass Lando. So I'm just saying, like, there's some differences between the two organizations. Vegas does a great job, but we're no doormat in the league either. So, AC, what are your thoughts on the IFL?
I mean, you got to be a little bit more specific, like the
Yeah,
whole league. Or,
yeah, just about the games and stuff. Any game you think?
honestly, man, I'm really just tuned in to this Tulsa Fishers game tonight. I really want to see who's going to take this game. Both Fishers is playing lights out right now, so I'm gonna support Anson and Coach backing him down there in Tulsa. But I didn't catch any of the IFL games last night because I was watching the Michigan and Nashville game. But I mean, it's still the best ran league, hands down. So there's that. Your Pirates, I mean, what's up, man? They got blown out by Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean it's one game, man. I mean it's fine, man. We'll be fine. You take losses. I'm not a sore loser, so I can lose with pride, but it's fine. We'll be fine. We beat Anson, Coach Anson in Tulsa. That was a good win. I really wanted to beat Wade, but we'll bounce back.
You was nervous about that game, though.
I was. I mean, we went into overtime, but it shows how you can battle adversity. I mean, Cody, I'm going to let you kind of talk about this. Talk about the coaching change in Orlando. You can spread whatever narrative you want to spread.
Yeah, what was that? What's that about?
Yeah.
I mean, Rob Keefe is out. Well, from what Peter Schwartz was tweeting and stuff like that, tendered his resignation, and it's pretty much Rob Windsor, his evil twin. It's Rod the Bod, former Arizona Rattler, Baltimore Brigade. I mean, he's been around the indoor and arena scene for a very long time. He's been with Northern Arizona and everywhere else being a coach and stuff too. So Windsor takes over. Just I guess issues in the front office between Keefe and the ownership and stuff like that. Regardless, I'm not here to speculate or do anything like that. Coach is out. So he's donezo, and you turn to Windsor in the interim and everything like that and see how they can go. Their first game, not so well. But, well, actually the second game, because he did take over just a couple of days after the resignation and they beat Tulsa. But, yeah, at the end of the day, you've got the rest of the season to go. We'll see how Orlando takes it. We'll see how the players respond to the coaches and everything like that. And we just kind of go from there. Like I said, it happens. I would say it's nothing new because it's not. It's just another coach let go by Orlando, Massachusetts, and the big wheel in the sky keeps on turning, man. The water's wet. The sky is blue. Whatever else observations you have that are clearly obvious. New coach in Orlando, Massachusetts. Every day ends in Y.
Yeah, I see this nice comment by Coach. Chill out, man. But hey, I'm gonna say this, right? This franchise was started 9 years ago with a vision. Mr. Hassan and Jawad started this with a vision, and sometimes people don't align with that vision. And so if you don't align with the vision, it's better to make a change now and mutually part ways. Now than we wait till week 5 and we have issues. So I'm really confident in Coach Windsor. I know what he brings. Man, I think he can be one of the best offensive minds in this whole football league. And I think people need to start giving him credit what he's doing with the young quarterback. I mean, we got a real young quarterback out there. I mean, he has 17, 18 touchdowns in 4 games. I mean, and last time I checked, I thought T.O. was too old to play football. That's what they were saying. That was some people were saying T.O. is too old. T.O. is too old. T.O. has more touchdowns than Stoudemire and Randolph have combined in Vegas. I'm pretty sure. So let's just get that out of the way here. So, but I'm proud of my guys, man. We go down fighting, so we'll be fine. But yeah, man. Let's talk about the games this week. But we really do have the best receiving core in the country, man. Like, I really believe that. I mean, I think you agree with that, Cody. Like, you wish you had our receiving core, right?
I think the addition of Naquan Murray is definitely helped them because the wide receiving core that you guys had last year left a little bit to be desired. Zico was good, but trying to go through Isaiah Coulter for a little bit, which he's been really good with Fishers, but going through him, going through Stephen McBride, like that, and some of it could be on Kenji Bahar too. But at the same time, I'm trying to think in my head right now, Arizona could potentially rival with Arlen Bruce and Corey Reed. But other than that, like I don't really know if there's another. I mean, Fishers with Wyndham, Coulter, and JT Stokes could be up there. I'm not really figuring any other IFL team off the top of my head that has 3 deep like Orlando does.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't really help them last night.
Vegas is amazing. I mean, obviously they got pieces all over the field, right? Seneca McKee, Stoudemire, Randolph. You know, obviously Phoenix Bros, right? They got a good core. I would put their core.
Well, Stoudemire's hurt.
Yeah, but he's only hurt for a short period of time.
And if you didn't see, they just signed and put Jerome Buckner on injured reserve, so they're going to get better with that.
Yeah, I don't know how they keep getting receivers, man. Like, how can you have that many receivers on the team or that many goals?
I don't know. I mean, I guess now thinking about it, San Diego's got a really good wide receiving core too. Shane Hooks, if they get Arthur Jackson back, they've got Cole Blackman, which I don't know where he's been at. Jalen Sample's actually been a really nice surprise. He's been in the CFL at 1 point too. So, like, San Diego's got a really good wide receiving core as well.
That was a big bounce back for San Diego last night. Like, I really think that was the turning win they needed to get back to San Diego.
Oh, for sure.
But we'll talk about this week's games. I know you have to go to.
For the amount of people that have San Diego. Yeah, for the amount of people that have San Diego in the championship and stuff like that, like, this is definitely one of the ones that's proven them right.
I just don't see how San Diego gets by Vegas. You know, I just think Vegas' defense will be good by then, but it'll be good. You know, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing San Diego in the title either. So we'll get to DraftKings. So obviously this week's games, Cody's going to be in Tulsa. He's going to get oiled up at the game. They're playing Indy. It's going to be a big one. So we'll start with Iowa and Green Bay. Cody, give me your picks for the entire week, and then we'll start with Iowa and Green Bay up here.
Yeah, you're good. For Iowa and Green Bay, I've got Green Bay in the spread. Actually, I take it back. The over-under is 93.5. I got the under in this one. But I think Green Bay is going to pull out the victory again. The last time these two teams played a couple weeks ago, I was ironically at that game too. And both teams had 20-point fourth quarters where the over hit. So I don't see that happening in this one, nor do I see Green Bay getting a 23-point lead right off the bat at the end of the first quarter. So I think the under is probably in play here, unless we just have another game where Green Bay just absolutely slaughters Iowa. I just don't see it. I think this game might be a little bit closer, and the game was kind of close last time these two teams met. It was 50-39 with that under, and it was at 89, so that under would hit in this game. I see more or less kind of like that, but maybe a little lower scoring with that, probably around 48-40, 48-38, something like that. So there's where we have that one. For the next game, we have Vegas and San Antonio. It's like I talked in the recap really quick earlier. I don't know what San Antonio's offense is. Sometimes they can score points, sometimes they can't. Their defense is giving up points. They played Arizona close, but is it just kind of a one-game thing? I don't know. They got back into the game a little bit just for Arizona to slam the door. They looked all right against Tulsa, but they had to go to Joaquin Collazo. Who's the star on this offense? Like, for most teams, you can point at Nate Davis, DeQuan Neal, Jaden DeLora, Quentin Randolph, whoever. I don't know who the star on San Antonio's offense is. And until they figure that out, I can't go with that. So I've got the spread for Vegas in that one. So minus 10.5, unless it's changed. Yeah, so minus 10.5. I got Vegas pulling out the victory with that. And then final one for Saturday, Tulsa and Fishers. I'm here in Tulsa. I graduated high school just south of Tulsa, but I got to go with Fishers. I'm going to take them on the money line, minus 192. They've put up 63 points in back-to-back games. They've shut down Arizona, and yes, Arizona put up 42 points, but I think Fishers took their foot off the gas in that game a little bit. Let Arizona kind of get back into it. They were going back and forth. They slaughtered Iowa. I don't think this is going to be a slaughtering. I'm excited to see how this game goes. I think Fishers takes it. I do. I think Tulsa's going to look good. TJ Edwards is going to ball out like he normally does, but going up against that defense, I'm excited to see how he does. Can he carve up Fishers' defense? Are they going to get pressure on him? I mean, that's what I'm excited to see when it comes to that. If Tulsa pulls the upset, I will actually be really, really excited for that. But I do not see it in this one. Arizona, Northern Arizona. Give me Arizona minus 9.5. I have no faith in Northern Arizona. I've been on record multiple times with that. I think they're only going to get 3 wins. I might even lower that. This team does not look good. It's kind of the same thing with San Antonio, man. I don't know what the offensive identity is. Ramon Atkins-Frazier looks like the star on the offense, but I don't know who like Marlon Cooks actually looked pretty good. I don't really know who else you can pick at that offense. I wish they'd use Nolan Susel a little bit more, and I've gone on record saying this too. I think Northern Arizona is just kind of parading as an AFL style team, just run it or just throw it. They'll run a little bit. They're going to throw it. So if that's what their offense is, fine. I just don't know if it's going to win you too many games, and the defense has given up too many points. And then final one, New Mexico, Tucson. This might be a sneaky game of the week for me, just because of what calamity could ensue here. I have no idea who to pick in this one, to be brutally honest with you. Throwing darts at the board, I would pick Tucson as the home team. I think they're a little bit better. But these two teams went back and forth just a couple weeks ago. Tucson needed the 3 phases. They got the touchdowns in all 3 phases. Can they do that again? I'm not sure. I still like Tucson just a little bit more, but I'm not surprised if New Mexico goes into Tucson's barn and pulls the upset when it comes to that. So that's what I have when it comes to all the previews. That's where my bets kind of stand. I got Tucson on the money line. I've got Arizona minus 9.5. Fishers money line, Green Bay Green Bay under, excuse me, and then Vegas minus 10.5. So.
Yeah, I like your picks. We'll start with the top. I've got the under in Green Bay, Iowa, and under 93.5. Vegas, San Antonio. I mean, I'm going to ask you, is there any chance San Antonio can pull off the win against Vegas today or no?
I don't see it. I can see a world where they can backdoor cover, like Vegas can take their foot off the gas, and that allows San Antonio to get within 10 points. It's minus 10.5. So I could see it being something like 49-39 or 49-40, and they get that backdoor cover with like a late touchdown. I have a hard time seeing San Antonio pulling an upset here. I really do.
I don't know, man. Is it just me or Joaquin Collazo? His release is so slow. Like, the way he gets the football out, it's not good.
I mean, there's definitely some issues that he has, but I don't think it's just all on him. I mean, the offensive line, they had Kobe Williams went out with an injury. They had to have Terry Beckner, your boy, play some offensive line for a little bit till he got back into the game. And I think have they had issues with the snap too? I can't remember because there's been some snapping issues throughout this league, man. But yeah, it's just the wide receivers and everything getting some separation and stuff. You don't have Naquan Murray to take it over the top. You don't have Khalil Rashad in the return game. So it's like who do you rely on in this offense? Who do you rely on the defense? Like, sure, they've got Ravarius Rivers, but he's not starting, and I don't know why he's not starting. They're taking him off the bench. I think you need to put him starting. Like, he's a UFL caliber player. Why is he not starting these games?
Well, he isn't starting? Really?
From what I've seen in the last 2 games, he's come off the bench, if I'm not mistaken. I have not seen him start.
That's crazy. The amount of money he's making too. That's insane. But no, I agree with you. I don't think San Antonio can beat Vegas today. I mean, I think San Antonio should go back to Fred Payton. I think honestly they should give Fred Payton an opportunity to play today. They don't establish the running game, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, I give Vegas a lot. I give Coach D a lot of shit, but Vegas' D-line is insane. Their D-line is crazy good, and their D-line doesn't allow rushing yards. Like, you really aren't going to run on Coach D and them. So, you got to figure out a way to establish a pass game, and I just don't think they'll be able to do it. I think their offense is so slow. They don't come out fast, and Vegas is going to score every time. So if Vegas gets the ball 10 times, eight times, they'll score 7. Right? That's the type of team they are. On a bad day, they'll score 7. So I think Coach Chin and the offense get it done. Give me Vegas to win this game. I say 55-38. Yeah, 55-38. Let's say. I think that's fair. No, let me change. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna say 48-35. That sounds better. 48-35. But yeah, Vegas will cover the spread. Indy and Tulsa. Give me Tulsa plus 5.5. Tulsa's at home. It's a home opener. This is really a big opportunity for Indy too. But I think Tulsa can bounce back. TJ looked amazing last week. I mean, I saw him firsthand, right? Like he looks back to MVP TJ. So I think he'll go off and have a great game against Indy. So give me Tulsa plus 5.5. Arizona, Northern Arizona. Northern Arizona is hot trash. They suck. Ramon Atkins. I mean, the rumor that he practices 1 time a week. Obviously, I heard from multiple sources. If that's true, it kind of looks like it on the field. So give me Arizona minus 9.5. Arizona will get to 3-1 on the season. Big chance for them. New Mexico and Tucson. Tucson is injured. I mean, what do you think about that, Cody? They got Aaron Jackson and Tamori Terry on IR. Like, that's big.
Yeah, that's a huge hit, and they've had Journey Sloan on injured reserve as well too. So you're wondering what kind of offense they're going to roll out there. You also wonder, Draylon Ellis is developing, but again, these two teams have already met each other. I think you have to take that into consideration as well. And they both didn't play the best. And I don't know. There's something about Tucson at home where I was like, I feel like I need to take them. To go back to your boy again, I think this could be a big day for Brandon Mackey and Tavion Thomas if they're going to rely on the running game for Tucson. It just kind of boils down to that. I do like Tucson's defense. If Jerome Johnson can improvise, if Jerome Johnson can hit DeMond Street and CJ Jefferson, and if LaMichael James, LaJames White, if LaJames White can have a good running day, then I can see New Mexico pulling out this victory. I don't know if I trust it just enough yet. I think Tucson gets a squeaker of a victory here. It's going to be close.
So I agree. I think Tucson can get the win. It's at home. New Mexico's offensive line is banged up. New Mexico, this is their first road opportunity. So it's a first road game. They're going into Tucson. This is a big win for Tucson, right? Tucson is 1-2 at this point. They can get back to 2-2 in the Cody. If San Antonio loses, Northern Arizona loses, right? Tucson is really separating themselves in the playoff race. So,
yeah, and that's something where it's like at the very beginning of the offseason, I was like, I think San Antonio, I even put San Antonio in the playoffs, hand up. That's probably a huge mistake on my part. But as I've said all offseason and even last year, like I'm waiting for San Antonio to break out. And they just like refuse to do it. So Tucson might get that final playoff spot by default with just how bad San Antonio looks, just how bad Northern Arizona's been looking. And New Mexico, they look good. But I think Tucson, if they win this, they've beaten New Mexico twice, and they've got the tiebreaker because they play one more time. So if they ever end up tied with their record, regardless if it's 9-7, 8-8, 7-9, whatever it is, then Tucson has that tiebreaker. So this game is actually very important because they play each other one more time. If New Mexico gets this victory, then that third game is going to determine how that kind of goes when it comes to potentially playoff tiebreaker if they finish with the same record.
it's going to be really interesting, man. Before we wrap up, I kind of want to get your thoughts on the IFL Network overnight in Yahoo Sports so far.
I mean, I've put plenty of that out into the ether already. What do you want to know?
I just want to know, like, do you feel like they've improved at all, or do you think it's kind of stagnant at this point?
Short answer, no. Long answer, yes, with caveats. The production, there's definitely some things that you need to look at. Overnight has had issues when it comes to streaming. Yahoo Sports has gone to commercials in the middle of extra points and stuff like that on their streams, man. Like, there's definitely kinks and stuff you have to work out. Yes, I will give the benefit of the doubt that this is the first year for both of these. And again, as I've said in my videos, go check out In the Alley, shameless plug. you have to give the benefit of the doubt a little bit to overnight because of what happened with the FanDuel Sports Network and everything like that. But if what is said on the press releases and stuff is true, that overnight and Yahoo Sports are just the channels, the vessels for what the Indoor Football League production is putting out, then it all falls on the Indoor Football League's production. Because if you're having production like what we've seen with Vegas and the choppiness and what we've seen in the issues with, Massachusetts at their previous arena up there in Lowell, where it's all blurry and it only looks good on replays and stuff like that. Like there's stuff that needs to get worked out. Yes, that's partly on the arena and their cameras and things like that too. But we're in year 16, 17 of the Indoor Football League. We need to be able to work these kinks out. I'm not asking for 4K definition. We're just asking for smooth streaming. And sometimes you get that, sometimes you don't. Yes, there are hiccups, but those need to be few and far between. And it's getting there. We're just not there yet. And we need to get there. At this point in time, we need to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think overnight, this is perfect, honestly. I like this right here. Overnight, Yahoo is 8 out. I would say Yahoo 9 out of 10. I would give overnight like a 6 out of 10, but I think that's pretty honestly accurate in my opinion. I like what the league is trying to do. I think the league is doing a good job. I think having sideline crews and having, different, like the pregame interviews with the coaches, the halftime interviews, like it makes it look like more professional. One thing I would like Cody, and I think you might like this idea. I want them to add post-game interviews, like post-game press conferences. Do you think that's something they can add?
I think that's a team-by-team basis kind of thing. The one thing I will say about the broadcast crews and stuff is you can kind of tell who's been broadcasting in the indoor and arena game before and who hasn't. Because some of the games that we've gotten, they're like, oh, well, that's clearly illegal defense when it's not, or vice versa. We're like, well, that's not illegal defense. They're like, well, the guy's hand was out of the jump, so yes, it is. Broadcast guys and girls and stuff like that, not knowing the numbers of the players. Some of that falls back on the teams in the league not being able to get rosters out in time and stuff like that too. There's definitely issues, but for some of the guys and girls that have been around, whether it's I don't know, Sandy Charles does a really good job. She was with Arizona, being the sideline reporter. She's done sideline work before. Whether it's Peter Schwartz getting back into it, whether it's Joey Bonadonna, who's done the Green Bay stuff in the past. But then you look at some of the crew with Yahoo, with Nate Tice and Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. Like they've done a really good job. They've done their homework. There's definitely some broadcasters that need to brush up on some stuff. But I really like what Yahoo's been able to do. I really do. Like you, I give them a 9 out of 10. There have been some issues, but not nearly as much as what's gone on overnight, especially what happened last night where the game was supposed to be on Yahoo, but there's technical difficulties between Quad City and San Diego, and they had to go switch that over to overnight. You were able to watch it for free, but you had to go over there to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and it's all going to get better, and that's what I want people to understand too. Like, this is the first year the league is doing this. It's going to get better. It's going to become more professional, and I just think, we can obviously tell. I wish more broadcasters would know. Yeah, exactly. You want guys. I mean, someone made a comment. Jonathan Bain. He's done so much in the indoor game. I love Jonathan Bain to death. That's my guy. Like he's awesome. He's a great guy. But Jonathan Bain's success within the arena style of play. You know what I mean? Like knowing the differences is key, and like people can tell that. So that's really what it is. Any other final thoughts on the IFL before we, tap out?
No, I'm just excited to go watch Fishers in Tulsa. I want to give a shout out to Fan Cave, the exclusive reseller of the Indoor Football League, for hooking me up. I got to meet their owners and stuff last night and go to the game tonight with them and hash it up with them too and see what the Oilers are all about. I've been wanting to get down here for a game for a long time. The last time I was here was with the Tulsa Talons when I was still in high school. So to come back to this arena, to the BOK Center and everything, it's definitely like a nostalgia trip in the sense, because watching the AFL with Justin Allgood and Odie Armstrong and Gabe Nienhuis and everyone like that, watching the Tulsa Talons, it was so much fun, man. So to be back here, it's incredible. I'm so happy.
Yeah, we got to get you to Orlando, man. Like, I really want you to come to an Orlando Pirates game.
Hey, man, get me on a plane somehow, some way. I've never been on a plane before, so I'd love to travel.
But man, it was a great show today. Great weekend of games. I'll be watching it. Slowly recovering from last night, but I'll get there. We got a big one coming up against Green Bay, obviously on Friday. Just got to bounce back, but it's not how you start; it's how you finish in the IFL, and it just speaks the level of parity in the league is crazy. I think the level of parity is a little bit less than last year, in my opinion. I think we're starting to see that. We're starting to see the gap. And I think Bay Area not being in it and some of the teams going in a different direction, level of parity not the same. The top teams are really emerging. So
I think there's even more parity. You got a three-way tie for the East, man.
in the East, there's more parity. In the West, there's none.
You got until San Diego won, there was a three-way tie in the West too. They were all 2-1.
I know, but like parity, I mean like close games. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get what you're saying, yeah, but if you're talking like records and stuff like that, that's what's going to take you into the playoffs.
Yeah, I see your point, but I think as the season goes on, we'll start to see like those.
Yeah, the cream will rise to the top. I get what you're saying.
Absolutely, but appreciate everyone watching, man. Go check out all these games. Go check out tomorrow the American Arena League draft on the Shady Sports Network. That starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We got Sam, Cool, and TJ down there in Columbus, Georgia. It's going to be a great show. So enjoy it, man, and we'll see y'all next week. Appreciate it.
Oil up.